Hello, we're live.
Hello. Happy Free RPG Day to everyone celebrating today. And I guess we should also say happy end of the week of Lore Master's birthday. What
Yes.
a perfect segment this event is for us, actually. So thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to make sure I do the intros for us on time this time, because I think last week we were so excited with the celebrating that we didn't introduce ourselves at all. We are the Story Engine. I'm Miroki. I'm the CEO of the Story Engine. I keep the proverbial engine going for us, for all of us lovely creators here. Beside me, I
am Eric. I shovel coal into the engine sometimes. They just keep me in the engine just with all the coal. They let me shower for today.
Well, on that same metaphor for today, we have through the screen.
Well, Eric has something besides shoveling coal. Eric is our community manager and also one of the writers who worked on Lore Master's deck and so many of our other projects. And I'm Peter. I'm the primary deck designer. I created the Story Engine deck, the original one, in 2019. It's kind of a one-off project that turned into this amazing full-time community of writers and gamers and artists and dungeon masters and collaborators and friends. And I'm really excited that we'll be getting to bring some folks from the Story Engine community onto the stream today to create with us. Because actually, Ricky, why don't you tell us about what we have going on here?
Yeah, we have a lot of things going on today. So first of all, it is Free RPG Day. So for those of us who are joining today for the Free RPG Day event, I would love to know if you guys have gone and checked out a Free RPG Day event at one of your local game stores. I know Wyvern, who is joining us today. I know Wyvern, sadly, in the UK, due to issues with U.S. customs, that all the Free RPG Day kits aren't making it over to Europe for a little while. But from what I hear, that you guys are going to have a belated one in July.
Call it Re-RPG Day.
Re-RPG Day. We've been participating in Free RPG Day for about 3 years now. We met the folks, I think it was at Gen Con, I want to say, in one of our early days at Gen Con, and amazing group of people who are trying to kind of introduce more RPGs to the world through Free RPG Day. And publishers like ourselves get to provide something that is related to games in some ways, whether it's dice, or maybe it's a cool like mini campaign, maybe it's miniatures, and it goes in a kit, and it goes to I think over 600 stores all over the world. And this year, we have made a little demo version of Lore Master's deck. It's a 35 card sampler pack from our main deck. So it's all the same cards. There's nothing exclusive in here. It's a chance for folks who've never had a chance to try Lore Master's deck before, which is 300 double-sided cards. So this is about 10% of that. Get a chance to build a little bit of lore with us. Of course, if you're tuning in, please let us know where you're coming from. Would always love seeing where around the world folks are joining us. Eric and I are joining from Toronto, and Peter is joining from the East Coast out in Halifax. So us Canadians, we're a Canadian company, but we love all our different creators and authors and gamers all over the world. So today, we're going to actually do some lore creation with you. We're going to be joined by 3 very special guests who are going to create a variety of different things with us. What are they? You're just going to have to find out. I did see earlier today, I think it was Popcorn Antics who wrote that they're actually going to be joining in and following along with your own Lore Masters deck, which I think is pretty dope. I love that. I guess the question would be, are you going to go rogue and like take different prompts and versus trying to match cards? Because it would be interesting if you found like one root card and then you go and deviate from that, because that will be a really great opportunity to show what magic Lore Master's deck can do. Intercepting transmission on the 3rd planet from Sol. I gotta dig that. And you know what? For like 5 seconds, I actually like legitimately like read it as like sci-fi. I was like, oh, like this person's kind of inventing a planet. And I was like, wait a minute. That's whoopsie daisy. So yeah, I mean, and the thing is for us, it's like this, we're actually, like I said, wrapping up a whole week. We've been celebrating a big birthday week for Lore Master's deck. It's our third birthday. We so a little bit for folks who have who don't know what Lore Masters deck is, and maybe are like, who the heck is the Story Engine, and what are you guys? Who are you guys are like, and what is Lore Masters deck? Lore Masters deck is our third deck of our series. We have our first deck, which is Story Engine deck, which is creating story prompts or NPCs if you are a gamer, since today's free RPG day after all. We have Deck of World, which is great for world building micro settings for your campaigns. And Lore Masters deck is like if you want to build like bottom up world building. So if you're trying to build every little hyper granular thing to weave out the whole like world that you want to create in. We crowdfunded this deck 3 years ago through BackerKit. I think almost over 3,000 backers for sure.
Yes,
probably
I think it was 4,000.
Nearly 4,000 backers have backed us. So thank you all so much. And we brought this deck to life around the world. And now we're celebrating our third birthday and doing free RPG day with you guys. I think we shared probably as much of the lore of Lore Masters deck that I could in like a 5-6 minute period, right, Peter?
I think so. Yeah. That's how it all jammed out.
Okay. Well, I think we probably should roll right into it because, like I said, we have 3 guests. So, and we all know that we have a bad habit of
running long,
going off the rails, tangenting. So we're going to try and stick as tight to our schedule today so that each of our guests get as much creation time with us as possible. But of course, if you have questions for us or if you have questions for any of our special guests, please drop them in the chat at any point. We're going to address as many of them as we possibly can. Okay. Most of you know the drill, so that's where we're going to be. Maybe this is the quickest time for me to lay. No, I'm not going to lay the ground rules yet. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Too organized today, guys. Too organized today. So I think without further ado, we're going to bring our first guest live on stage. We're going to bring her on just a couple minutes early, which is great because it means more creation time. This guest has appeared on live streams with us before. We love having her with us. Is Claire C. Marshall. She is the founder and author-publisher behind Faery Ink Press, where she publishes young adult science fiction, fantasy, and horror novels. Her fantasy novel, The Violet Fox, was given an honorable mention in the 2016 Whistler Independent Book Awards, and its sequel, The Emerald Cloth, was nominated for Best YA Novel in the 2019 Pre-Aurora Awards. When she's not writing or fiddling up a storm, ooh, I didn't know she was a fiddler. That's so great. She enjoys computer games and making silly noises at her 2 cats, Pinecone and Pavlova, which is excellent names. She lives in Calgary with her husband. So let's welcome to the stage, Claire.
Yay! Hello, and
Yay! Hello. Hello. Can you see me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. We were live troubleshooting camera problems before
the famous "is this thing on?" question.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have one more device if we need to try that out in case I crash live. But thank you for having me. And yes, I do play the fiddle. I'm a stereotypical Nova Scotian, living in Calgary, but grew up rural Nova Scotia. Play fiddle and step dance. So.
When do you learn the fiddle, Peter?
Sorry?
When do you learn the fiddle?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I think it's something they make you do when you've been here for 20 years. I'm not quite there yet, so.
Coming
soon.
You're gonna like retrofit a sword to become a bow, and you're just and it's gonna weigh a ton, and then you're just gonna like saw a fiddle.
I have been one of my fencing friends plays the Boran at a Celtic music night, so that I go to occasionally. So I'm halfway there.
The Boran I play the Boran as well. It's a good starter instrument. Like it's not that expensive, and it's fun. It's fun to play.
It's a fun one.
I'm a typical Royal Conservatory like Asian child upbringing and was taught the violin. But not very well because I was a pianist first, and I learned that trying to learn an instrument at an advanced level and learn a new instrument at a beginner level was really hard. I really loved the violin. I love string instruments, and it was one of those things where I had like dreamed at one point that I would become proficient at. But no, I think I could at most play like a tiny little childlike diddle. Anyways, delighted that you're here. We loved having you at one of our last live streams. I think the last live stream, I think you've appeared in one since I've chatted with you last, because I know you did a really wonderful solo RPG live stream with us a little while ago.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I did one where there was like frogs and a swamp. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that. There was frogs and a swamp.
Yeah. This time you're gonna be cooking up an NPC for us. Oh yeah, and sorry, the theme of the day, by the way. So we have our 3 creators creating 3 different things for us. And we're actually going to publish the stuff that they create as a 5e compatible stat block. So Claire is going to be creating an NPC for us live today, and we're going to actually put together stats for this character, maybe some special abilities, and make that available on our blog. It'll happen not immediately after Free RPG Day. We'll need some time to put it together, but you can follow us on our socials, or you can follow us in the newsletter to get that when it comes out. But yeah, Claire's going to make an NPC, and because Claire is such an expert in solo RPGs, and because she's used them so effectively to inspire her own writing, I thought we could, while building this NPC, talk about how you might use them in a solo RPG, or what you look for in an NPC for a solo RPG specifically. But of course, this character will also be just usable in a regular D&D campaign with multiple players as well. But I'd be curious to hear about the strategy of coming up with a character who is not you, that has to be able to like act outside of you, but that's also still coming from your brain. What a crazy thing to do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a good question. Do you want me to answer that now, or you want me to answer it while we're talking?
Yeah, answer while we jam, I think, because then you can show.
Yeah,
we can like use a use case to talk about like why that choice might be interesting for
yeah. And what I was gonna say is, Eric, if you want to find these like the solo RPG blog and share it in the chat for folks who want to get a chance to learn a little bit more about solo RPGing with any of our decks. There's some really great, we have some really great blogs on that as well. Sorry, Eric decided to cause an earthquake on our desk and gently spilled some stuff. So we're doing some disaster triaging over here while there's some world building.
No worries. Well, I'm going to set a timer here for 30 minutes so that we've got a little bit of time afterwards to chat before our next guest comes on, and we can do a little bit of debriefing. And what we'll do is we'll get started with some creation. And maybe for this first one, we will actually use the Lore Masters deck sampler pack with the cards. But this deck is missing certain card types. We had to really cut things down to fit everything in here. But I thought it'd be nice to showcase it, and then we'll bust out the full deck for the remaining bits of creation. But yeah, you'll see here, got the 35 cards. These are all the same cards as in the main deck. We did have to shuffle cues around from one card type to another card type. I'm going to reset your timer to 30 minutes again when I'm done the intro, because this is not fair that we're robbing you of this time. Because we had to cut out certain card types, we had to then cut out references to certain card types. So to make the cards work, we had to steal cues from other cards and mix and match them together to make sure that we weren't like referencing a card type that we had pulled from the deck. So otherwise, it's the exact same prompts that you'll find in the main deck. They're the exact same cards. There's no new cards or anything. And yeah, and then there's just an abbreviated version of the guidebook here, which you can find a longer one at the link. Okay. So we are going to grab our figure cards, and I'll explain how the deck works sort of as we do it very quickly, but I'm going to assume that most people know how our deck works, or they can look it up on our website as they follow along. Okay, so we're at 30 minutes. The fact that it's not counting down tells me that battery might be dead in this, in which case we'll just remove it.
Time has stopped.
Time has stopped.
2 hours later.
Yeah.
2 hours later, the other guy
still spinning,
sitting backstage being like, I swear to God, I was told to show up at this time.
All right, so I'm pulling a figure card. The primary side of the figure card here with all the color has just simple prompts for what type of figure or character we might be making. So Claire, do you want to create a character who's a whistleblower, a sage, a thief, or a geologist?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm kind of drawn to sage, although can we talk about like, I think I know what a sage is. Like, it's kind of a person who is very knowledgeable, but I also I feel like, well, this is a bit of a deep pull, but does anybody play like the Spiderweb software games? I feel like the sages in those were also kind of herbologists. They weren't quite mages, but they like had maybe like a little bit of magical knowledge, but they're kind of like jack of all trades of like the kind of physical magical world, or like alchemists a little bit. So I think that's like very interesting, kind of kitchen witch kind of kind of vibe. Somebody who's has one foot in the magical world, but is not like full-blown wizard, warlock. I don't know if you want to like correlate these with like a 5e like class.
No, we can figure that out later. We can figure that out later.
Yeah.
Unless you have like really strong feelings about a certain thing, and of course we'll make sure we do our best to integrate it.
Okay. Somebody says for the sage to have herbal knowledge. Yeah, sure. So sage, whistleblower. Whistleblower is interesting too, because it kind of like creates at least two factions in the world that they are like, opposing. So yeah, I guess those are my feelings.
Okay. Do you want to put your favorites to the chat then? We can have the chat vote between Whistleblower and Sage.
Yeah. Come on, chat.
Rookie, why don't you explain how the vote works and conduct that for us?
Yeah. So to vote, have your votes queued up. Don't hit go yet. We will count you down, but you can have it queued up. First to 3 is the one we will go with. So we're voting for either Whistleblower or Sage, and you can vote in 3, 2, 1, and vote.
Go.
Okay. I love thinking through, like, again, the options, like why are the two choices interesting, or what makes them different from each other.
I also like the forward thinking that you have there, Claire, that you were like, then this is where you're an expert at Lore Masters deck, because you're talking about Whistleblower and you're immediately like, there's two factions, and it's like, lo, we have faction cards. It's like you already know exactly.
The implications of a whistleblower.
Yeah.
For Sage, 1 for Whistleblower. So someone's either going to tip the scales, or of course, Popcorn immediately saying, can we do a Sage Whistleblower? I feel like we're really going.
We're gonna get close.
We're going as rogue as we can possibly be with the deck today. Apparently, we immediately not even corner tucking. We're just corner. We're not even corner tucking. We're just cornering the card.
So just cornering.
There is a way to do a corner tucked primary card, which is this, exactly what we have here. It only works in Lore Master's deck if you're like not really doing a proper grid, which is fine because we're actually not making a grid. We're making a standalone prompt, so we can kind of get away with this. So okay, let's do it.
All right.
And here was like we were to have an opportunity to use the focus sleeves, and we immediately cannot.
I have them on. You know what we'll do? A creative use of the focus sleeves. We'll just block that off now.
Yeah, I feel like you should put it as like a diamond. Can you put it as a diamond so that it like lays on top of each other like a there we go.
Very pleasing.
Very
yes. Yes, right. Love it.
All right, so let's find out more about our whistleblowing sage. And to do that, we are going to draw more of the figure cards, except we're going to flip them over because every Lore Master's deck card is double-sided. The backside has what we call secondary cues. And these are really specific details that are like designed specific to the card category that they're in. So these aren't like we haven't just generically paired like an adjective and sage. These are like specifically what would make a figure interesting in your world, and also how could that figure connect to other parts of your world. So for our figure here, we can give them a background where they were involved in a terrible breakup. We can give them an agenda to find a lost location. They can have a trait where they have a regionally specific or mixed accent. Or a trait where they're constantly snacking or chewing something.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I am attracted to the breakup. I wonder if this person has like just gone through a terribly explosive breakup, and that's why they decided to become a whistleblower. That would kind of be my like first instinct. I do like that they are just nastily chewing on stuff. Maybe Well, as part of if they're very knowledgeable about herbs, maybe they have this habit of like just, you know, picking up a leaf and gonna take a nibble on that. Just gonna have a little nibble on that. Yeah, the sage munching sage leaves. Absolutely, absolutely. Maybe they're trying to quit smoking, or it's just a nervous tick that they have. But I mean, are we really going to corner tuck all the cards? Are we going to have a real pointy session?
We can put it to the vote, or we can corner tuck.
Like, keep going and going and going.
I mean, are they next to each other, Peter?
This is corner tuckable. Yeah, corner tuck compatible.
So corner tuck compatible. That's probably what I would do.
Okay.
Love it.
It does work. And this is a great chance to talk about link queues. So in Lore Masters deck, we want to encourage you to be able to create not just standalone things like a random character, but a random character who actually connects to your world in meaningful ways. So whenever there's a link queue, it's one of these little icons here that tells you, oh, hold on. Good pun. There's only so much sage when they can't find the time to look for something else.
Unacceptable.
Beautiful. Love it.
Love
Thank
it.
you. Right, so link queues little icon tells you that this particular prompt is going to connect to another lore cluster, or to another card at the very least. So that icon is another figure icon, which will tell us to draw a figure to find out who the breakup was with from this whistleblowing sage. So that's what we're going to do next, because you always complete your link queues before you draw your next secondary queue. And for this, we'll use the main deck, and we've got here a zealot, an outrider, a composer, or an emergency worker.
Ooh, okay, some really, really good ones. My first instinct is zealot, but maybe that's too obvious. Just because maybe the other faction, or one of the factions, is like a very extremist kind of faction. I do like composer, though, to kind of subvert maybe expectations. Maybe the person in this other faction, like, I mean, obviously, music, we were talking earlier about like East Coast music and like playing the fiddle. Maybe they're a musician or a wannabe musician. I'm getting like very kind of soft strings. Maybe they're a harpist. Yeah, let's make them a composer.
I love it. So we'll tuck that right under here.
What if whistleblower isn't like?
What if they play the tin whistle?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no conspiracy.
Yes, I love it. Yes. Oh my God, that's so good. I play a little bit of tin whistle. I did learn a little bit. That's not easy. So yeah, maybe this sage. Yeah, that would make sense. They're also literally a whistleblower, but also a whistleblower.
Again, there's you have the freedom to interpret the prompts any way you want. That is explicitly in the guidebook. So
no, I like that a lot.
The cops can't arrest you for reading whistleblower as a literal whistle. The cops can't arrest you for it.
I love that. I love that a lot. Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's like a feud, or maybe there's some kind of yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Also,
yeah. Let's keep going.
How gross is it to have a whistle, like a woodwind or a wind instrument player who's always chewing on stuff? Like,
disgusting. Maybe our protagonist is not so likable.
maybe this is why they let kids out of the orchestra.
At least with tin whistles, like it's not like was it the flute, like the side flute, or I don't know what the side or the front flute is called. Right. But yeah, it's not like a reed where you like clean it. It's just like a straight up whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's more about the spittle that just slowly drips out the end. Which I think no matter whether you have a reed or not,
yeah,
it's still gonna end up collecting.
You definitely still have to clean a flute out on occasion.
Fair enough.
I played in a band long enough to know that much.
Love it.
Right. Well, having completed our link queue, we can proceed to learn a little bit more about our whistleblower sage here, who's very much like tooting their own horn. Okay, so draw another secondary cue here. We could have a background where this character is indebted to a figure. They could have an agenda to revive a defunct faction. They could have a trait where they're always wearing gloves and or a mask, or a trait where they are overly trusting or distrustful.
Ooh, I mean, I think the gloves and the mask is funny, especially if they do play tin whistle. Like, it's very hard to play the tin whistle, or imagine any other like fluted instrument if you are wearing gloves. The mask, I mean, it does kind of go along with being distrustful as well. If you're like always suited up and like you don't want people to see you, maybe, or you're undercover. I just like the gloves. I just think the gloves and the mask is kind of funny.
It could be interesting if like if the instrument they play, like if they are blowing like an actual like grass reed, like we've had some pitches for grass blades, like we've had pitches from the chat. If like it's something that like finger skin doesn't react well to it, so you have to wear gloves to handle it, even though like the mouth is fine, maybe because the saliva or something.
Or they cut themselves a lot because blades of grass can be sharp, so they're wearing gloves. Whenever they're trying to find a new blade of grass that is like the perfect density to blow in.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Yeah, let's go with that.
They're just always sticking their hands in poison ivy and have learned.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Cool. All right then. And then we'll do one more, and then we'll pause for a sec to talk about solo RPG, how we might use this character. And because we're actually like making good time here, we could pull out the composer and learn more about them, or potentially another link queue that might come up as we're choosing here.
Yeah.
So,
and meanwhile, hello to DJ H47. Happy to tune in while local events are a bit meh. I'm sorry to hear that the local events aren't going. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We promise not to call out any local stores. But I'm glad you found us through like free RPG Day, which is my assumption of when you're talking about local events, you're talking about the free RPG Day events. Happy to have you join us. We're with Claire right now. We're doing a little bit of lore building. We're trying to build out a NPC. I don't know where you tuned in at, but just to reset very quickly for folks who are just joining in, we have ourselves a sage whistleblower. A whistleblower who may also literally be blowing some sort of whistle-like instrument. And they have recently had a breakup with a composer who Claire has pitched as a harpist. This breakup may or may not have caused the sage to become a whistleblower. And we're about to call one more cue. So go for it, Peter. Didn't mean to interrupt there.
No. That's always good to do a recap. So our figure could have a background where they are of unknown birth or lineage, an agenda to hunt, capture, or befriend a creature, a trait where they have a signature piece of equipment, or a trait where they have a unique speaking or singing voice.
I mean, the signature piece of equipment is interesting. I don't know if, but the sage would always be probably like in the woods. I don't think they're a hunter. Like, I don't think they're like, they want to capture an animal. It would be cool if they had like an animal companion.
Yeah.
And it'd be cool to make an animal. I mean,
you are
it would just be cool to make
like,
an animal or creature.
Interpret that prompt however you want. Like, you can just say like, this person's already done it. They've already done it.
Yeah, that's true. They've done it. Let's do the animal companion. Let's give them an animal friend.
If Disney's taught me anything, it's that an animal companion can easily help you build a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Yes,
that's their formula in almost every movie. There's some kind of animal companion who's very cute who sells plush, and you know what? I love it every time. I love it. They get me. I own it. I straight up. Gonna just tell on myself for a sec here. There we go. There's Pua. Yeah.
Honestly, thinking about Shang-Chi, and when they came up with this like faceless ottoman with wings, I was like, I do not understand how I'm so attracted to this face, because you know how they talk about like cute things, like it's like there's like this perfect ratio of like eyes, I think, like nose, mouth, and they talk about that's how they build cars. They're meant to build that emotional connection. So to create this thing that has no face, literally a walking ottoman with wings, like the ottoman from Beauty and the Beast, the like dog ottoman isn't as cute as this weird winged fluffy ottoman with wings.
Well,
was like,
I mean, they had 30 more years to like figure out the technology.
They're like, we see something with the ottoman dog somewhere, you know, like 50, 60 years down the line, we will create another ottoman and he will be better.
Eventually it'll have
another
enough.
30 years, just how cute the faceless Ottomans will be.
And then there'll be so many of them, and they'll be so powerful that we'll have to refer to them as the Ottoman Empire.
Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable.
All right. We did not draw an Ottoman for the creature, unfortunately. Although we could draw an object card if we wanted to see if we get an Ottoman. And it's a little Ottoman
I
friend.
don't know if Ottoman is in the deck.
I don't think Ottoman's in it.
I don't think it is.
Piece of furniture does exist in the Story Engine main deck. That I'm sure of. But we have here for a creature, we've got a tortoise, which is very Ottoman-like, you know.
You want to put a cushion on it.
Yeah. I mean, what is
or turn it upside down.
An Ottoman if not a tortoise with a soft shell? A songbird. We have an imp, and we have a shark.
I mean, I think it has to be songbird to fit the theme. Although I do like the idea of the tortoise, but I think it just has to be the songbird. I do like that it can fly. It's a bird and it can kind of just like be under its own power and maybe hide in his pocket or like their pocket or her pocket.
It was really interesting to see Imp as part of it was interesting to see Imp as part of the creatures, because like Imp for me has like sentient qualities to it and would tie the stage, but it's like very different. It's like the idea of familiarity becomes different because like, you know, I think sometimes when we hear about animal companions, we think about they are like bonded to us in some ways and they have some sort of loyalty to us, where I'm not sure if an imp would have like actual loyalty possibly.
It's like
it would be a transactional loyalty maybe.
I just like the songbird for the sage. It's like songbirds are very good at like picking things up for like little seeds and grass. And I literally saw
Sorry.
I literally saw a bird the other day carrying like a piece of like grass or twig that was like 3 times as long as it was. I was like, well, this is kind of like, you go build that house.
Ambitious.
Oh my God! Can you imagine what if the songbird was like a dual familiar for the stage whistleblower and the composer when they were dating, and then it's like like when they broke it up.
Oh, shared pet.
Split.
Who gets it in the breakup though? Like that's.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I also like maybe the songbird's nest is in the sage's like front pocket or like one of their many pockets, and I do like that the songbird might be a breakup pet or a pet that is a shared pet. Maybe there's shared custody.
It's like the breakup was very amicable, but they spent 3 months fighting about this.
It was the only like bone of contention.
Maybe definitely. The whistleblowing like had not as much to do with maybe like another faction, like you're like revealing a political faction thing, but maybe they like whistleblew something about the composer. Like either they had, I don't know, maybe they were like on the move a lot and they couldn't actually have like good like nurturing or housing arrangements for the songbird who already had a nest, or like basically called them out for something. It's like when they were fighting over the custody, to be like had actually revealed something about the composer that they didn't really want to know, that either like highly embarrassed them, ruined their reputation in some way, just so they get custody of the songbird.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, there's definitely something going on there.
I don't know. The
whistle
composer
blowing.
uses a harp that's made from a wood that's specifically like the songbirds nest in, so it's bad because this composer has no care for the songbird's particular species.
Definitely, yeah,
We got a lot of options.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have this question here about do we have a string for connecting items? Great question.
Great
actually.
So
this is the perfect time to show off. It's part of the main deck.
Yeah, it's not part of the sampler pack, just as a heads up. This is the thing I'm about to show you is not in there.
Yeah, so DJ, like if you are picking up Lore Master's deck as a sampler pack, it's a 35-card sampler pack as part of Lore Master's deck, which is 300 cards. And if you've actually, one thing I didn't say today, if you shop today on our website for Free RPG Day, you get 10% off any of our Lore Master's deck and Lore Master's deck expansions. So we have Lore Master's deck, which is our 300 double-sided card deck, of which the sampler pack is 10% of. We 10% off our expansions. So that's the Lore Mastery expansions. We have a Deities expansions, a Namesakes, and an Emblems expansions. And I believe our 2 Bridge expansions that are connected to Lore.
Everything.
See?
Yeah. Everything except PDFs and the unreleased stuff.
Yes. You know what? It's funny. I actually had that half in my head and then I forgot midway through because I was still so focused on our birthday sale, which was all Lore Masters deck based. It's a store-wide sale, 10% off, guys. Completely ignore what Maroki said. It is everything except PDFs.
I literally can't believe that it's been 3 years.
I know.
Since, like it feels like it was just last year. Like I can't believe it's been 3 years. Like that's wild.
I know. We were actually talking about that for our birthday because like the thing with it is that it's 3 years from when we launched the campaign. But for us, we lived it for so long, all the way up until fulfillment, and we fulfilled at the end of 2024, early 2025. So for us, it almost feels like it's only been a year and a half.
Of course,
but we were always talking about when is the birthday, and we decided the birthday is when we launch the birthday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So launch the deck. So, but those are the tokens that are part of the main deck.
You can basically create a literal trail of breadcrumbs, or not literal breadcrumbs, but a literal trail of dots that connect different parts of your lore web. The idea is that we'll expand cards and then give those cards their own details and build a web of how these different parts of your world are connected. But if you ever need to connect 2 parts of your world that are far apart, you just put a little string of these tokens pointing from one to the other, and you'll be able to follow all of the connections in your world. And to actually show you that, what we'll do is we have about 7 more minutes of creation with Claire before we're going to pause and do a little debrief and also let you know about the cool projects that Claire's been working on. So I'm going to, we'll do a very quick version of how you expand a lore web. So you'll pull the card out, you'll rotate it so that the primary cue that you're using is still facing you. This is a card that you want to learn more about. This is not part of the main deck. This is an accessory you can buy called the focus sleeves, but basically that'll help you cover up any cues that you're not using. You'll have just the prompt that you're working on. That's your songbird. Also not included in the sampler pack, but part of the main deck is modifier cards. These are cards that are just a little adjective that give you a 1-word description to get started thinking about what this thing you're expanding is. And the nice thing about these is that they have little arrows that show you that one card expanded into the other, so you can always follow the logic that made your web expand. And so what we'll do right now is give a modifier card to the songbird. So there's our songbird absorbent, ferocious, gracious, burnished,
I like the absorbent,
meticulous, traditional, sunken, or textured.
Oh, I mean, absorbent is very funny. I think they're meticulous, though. I mean, a meticulous songbird, they're very particular about what notes they're singing, about the nests that they're building. They're very, particular about the material that they use for their nest, like all that, very meticulous for sure.
Love it.
So the reason why I was laughing about absorb is because we were talking about how whistles and flutes have so much.
Oh, yeah.
Just like they put the little songbird in a tray with whatever they perform, like giving it a little.
If you add P and E to songbird, you get spongebird. So just saying. Okay. More details for our spongebird.
Songbird.
And something I'll note here, creature cards, just like our figure cards, are double-sided and have secondary cues. And these secondary cues are really specific to what makes a creature interesting. So the nice thing about Lore Master's deck is it lets you dive deep on all of these specific kinds of traits that make each different type of thing in your world interesting. If you're making an object or an artifact, interesting details about artifacts. If you're making a figure, interesting details about figures. Here we got some details about our creature. So it can have a background where it's named after a figure. A trait where it has a continuously growing body or body part. A trait where it's a disease carrier, or a trait where it's a tool user. This animal is actually capable of using tools.
Oh, I mean, I feel like, that's interesting. Would you say that, I guess birds aren't technically tool users, although their claws can like pick up and their beaks can pick up stuff, but they're not like, they don't have opposable thumbs.
There are a few that will like pick up rocks to like smash nuts and things like that, or like don't like.
Okay.
Crows have used like long stemmed things to pull things out of bottles. Yeah. So
yeah.
Possible.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of like that. And what was the first thing again?
Nicknamed after a figure.
Okay. I think let's go with the tool user. Maybe they play their own little instrument. Like other than being a songbird, they also have a tiny little whistle or a tiny little, I guess they can't with a beak. There's something that they play that's teeny tiny. Would be very, very cute.
So something we could do here, because we don't want to just draw a random card. We already kind of know what we think that they use as a tool. So this would normally be a link cue to draw a object card, but instead I'm just going to find an object card that kind of represents that more or less, so that we don't have something random that we use, which is an option that you always have. I can't find something that's a great fit from the sampler, because we don't have a ton of stuff in it. So I'm just going to quickly find something from the...
While you're looking for that, Peter, I like Popcorn Antic saying, couldn't resist the sale, but had to limit yourself to one new pack. I want you to let me know what was the pack that you ended up picking.
Yeah,
I'm super curious to know. I'm assuming you have the main deck. Yeah, she said you come follow along the deck. Do you have any of the other Lore Masters deck expansions right now? And then which expansion you decide to pick up today? Because I always love to see what is resonating with people.
Okay.
Go ahead, Peter.
I pulled out the instrument card here to represent the songbird actually playing a little instrument of some kind.
Love it.
And so then we can keep giving it some details here. It could have a background where the songbird is worshipped by a faction. A trait where it has a tail with a club or a stinger. A trait where it has pincers or barbs. Or a trait where it has camouflage resembling a certain type of location.
Oh, that's interesting. I kind of like the worshipped by a faction, and maybe it wasn't worshipped in like the traditional sense, but maybe it was a mascot of like the faction that the composer was part of. Maybe it is an orchestra. Maybe they're traveling around and the songbird was like their good luck charm, or maybe it was part of this little traveling orchestra, and and then our sage just kind of won the bird, or maybe they're sharing custody of the bird. And yeah, I definitely like that. Maybe it was one of the bone, as we discussed, a bone of contention in the breakup.
Alrighty. Well, then what I'm going to do is actually show how the link cues work here, because rather than drawing another faction card, and this is a nice option when you're like getting late into a prompt and you know that you're going to be wrapping it soon. You don't necessarily want to add more elements to the mix all of a sudden. You might want to find ways to reuse the elements you already have. So I'm going to make a little trail of breadcrumbs, just saying that the faction is basically like the composer, like or related to the composer's work.
Yes. And welcoming mediocre mercenary, kind of dig the handle there. First time here, recommended by a friend. This seems entertaining. We hope we're entertaining you. Welcome. Glad and thank you to your friend who recommended Story Engine to you. I'm always happy to have new folks here building things. Just to let you know what's going on here for today's live stream. We're building different lore prompts with 3 amazing guests. Right now, we're joined by Claire C. Marshall of Faery Ink Press. We built a little NPC character. We have a whistleblower sage. The sage may be whistleblowing on somebody, possibly the composer that they have broken up with. They may actually blow a literal whistle as an instrument. we're finishing off building their songbird companion. Who the songbird also now plays a tiny instrument, play a little tiny whistle instrument, and is connected to the composer. So we're just using the link tokens from Lore Master's deck to do that final connection there. And we're all celebrating Free RPG Day today, which is an amazing event that takes place all around the world, where different game stores get involved with sharing cool, fun, like tools, whether they be mini campaigns or like dice, miniatures.
It's like if you go to like a Free RPG Day store, it's like you'll see a lot of like one-shot, like one single sheet type campaigns or RPGs from a bunch of different publishers. You'll see like a couple like dice things. We're obviously kind of like our own little category where you're going to see this little sample deck. So it'll be all kinds of RPGs and RPG resources.
Yeah, and you can visit the Free RPG Day website to find out if the local store near you to check it out. And for folks who are in Europe, I know there's going to be a belated one later on because unfortunately, due to some U.S. custom shenanigans and blockages, those kits didn't end up making it over to Europe on time because shockingly, it takes time for a ship to move across the ocean.
Shocking.
Shocking. But it looks like we'll hopefully have a belated event in July. So I can't tell you what those dates are. I'm just the messenger, but you can always check out their website and find out.
Yep, and website's there, and they do have like a great list of all the stores who are participating. So if there's one near you, you can find it.
Yes.
Sweet. All right, and we'll do one last little prompt here, and then we'll do a little bit of a post-game analysis on what we've created. So we've got our tool using Songbird, which, very quick aside pitch, if it's playing a little like bong instrument, we call it a gongbird.
Yes.
Really dumb, really cute.
Yes.
And we're going to give it one more detail. We know that it's worshipped by some kind of like musical faction or chorus or composer type thing. However, we can give it one more detail. Background where it's created or trained by a faction. A trait where it is translucent or transparent. A trait where it is the pet of a figure, which we kind of already have going on here. And then a trait where it has regenerative properties. It has regeneration.
Oh, very, very interesting. I mean, I'm most intrigued by the regeneration and the translucent. I would pitch that maybe when they're scared, maybe they get like little stage fright and they turn translucent or invisible.
So cute.
Yeah.
That's so cute. I love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
That,
all right.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. All right. Gently letting go. Trying to disturb the cards. Perfect. Okay, I didn't ruin anything. So, there we go. So we'll do a very quick recap, and then you can tell me a little bit about how you might deploy this in a solo RPG. I'd be curious to know the storytelling opportunities here. But what we've got is a whistle-blowing sage who is not blowing a whistle metaphorically on a faction or anything like that. They are, in fact, literally, they blow a little whistle as their instrument. They are constantly chewing or snacking, and they were involved in a bad breakup with a composer. They themselves are always wearing gloves, and we think that's probably something to do with needing to safely handle their grass blade instrument, which is sharp-edged. And we also know that they have a little friend that they managed to sort of co-adopt with their composer breakup person, which is a little songbird or potentially a gongbird, but an instrument that actually plays music. It's a bird that plays music that is revered by composers and certainly seen as like a mascot for that type of lifestyle, and which turns transparent or translucent when it gets scared or shy or stage fright. And yeah, Claire, how do you think you would deploy this in a solo RPG? What do you think you might do?
Yeah, that's like a really interesting question. I find that because you mentioned at the start, like solo RPG is very like, I mean, it's all improv kind of based. So I would probably start off and create it just as we have done, start with one detail and sort of expand around it. It might be contextual, so how I would interact with this stage would depend on the location that we are in, but how I would make it actually like talk with me as an other person is I would probably use gosh, I always forget all the names, but I have them in my little book here. The mythic system, and this is an older table. There is a method for interacting with NPCs, and there's like 3 different tables that you can roll on, and that kind of helps you determine the NPCs disposition and how they react to you. So there's like a D10 table, and it kind of basically ranges from like this character takes an action to like this character stays the same. And then if you roll kind of on the extreme end of that table, it takes into like this character takes a more extreme action, like they stop talking to you, or they may even like move against you. So that's like mechanically probably how I would make that work. That would be like, that's kind of my like initial reaction. But I'm just like when you were talking at the beginning of the stream there about how like, yes, I as the solo, the creator, I am creating this like other that speaks to me. It is very interesting to kind of like separate your brain like that, and it's all about like kind of going with that intuition. So even if you don't have like a fancy system, and you're just like, how do I like talk to this sage? I would kind of recommend just being like, well, go with your gut instinct. Like picture this sage musician in front of you, and like, what's a question that you would ask this sage to kind of engage in conversation? You know, like, why do you have a bird in your pocket? What's your bird's name? Like, what are you running from right now? If they're like running from the orchestra faction, or like, why are you sad? Or just like ask a question. And I find that will kind of spur, that will spark a conversation.
Sweet. Cool.
You know, it's funny that you kind of mentioned it that way, because this is going off the Lore Masters deck tangent a little bit, but because we have 3 new expansions that we're releasing for Story Engine deck later on this year, the character dynamics expansion, it almost feels like, because we're specifically working with NPCs, we're solo RPGing, we're talking to people. A lot of the questions are a little bit introspective, but I think it would also be fascinating to use the character questions cards as a way to prompt the kinds of questions we would, because in some ways they are like, a lot of them would be provocative in some ways too. They might be questions that are like challenging for someone to answer when you're meeting them and getting to know them, especially if they have like, something mysterious. What was it?
When is the last time you felt trapped?
Yeah. And I feel like this would be like really useful in some ways, and like kind of building those kinds of questions, or like prompting interesting responses.
Definitely. Definitely.
I agree. Well, thank you for sharing that insight into kind of how you would deploy this in solo RPG, and specifically about how to use Mythic, which I know our next guest, Clark, is hanging out in the chat because we'll be bringing him on shortly, but he said that it's a really useful tool that he likes as well. Like how you use Mythic to basically get to have like an evolving relationship with an external character who's also coming from inside you, which again is it's such a weird brain split, but I really like the way that you explained how to approach it. And yeah, but before we say goodbye, I was hoping to hear a little bit about some of your the projects you have going on, because I know you know how much I love microfiction, and you took microfiction to like a whole new level. And I've been you've sent me like little videos and bits and pieces of it, and I've gotten to see a little bit of how you have been releasing it in the wild. But can you talk a little bit about your microfiction project you've been working on?
Yeah, so last year I started doing what I call miniature microfiction. So I have some right here. They are literally, oh, my camera's over here. Literally tiny books that you can actually read. I hand make these. Just open them up. They are short stories. They are most of them are technically microfiction. The fantasy ones, which look like this, They have little dust jackets. They're about 800 to 1,500 words, so slightly longer than the technical definition of a microfiction, I realize. But however, I also have horror ones now, which have foiled covers.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Catch us the light.
I can try. Yeah. I had to coat these so they're a little more matte than like a traditional super foily. But yes, these are horror ones. These are a little longer. They're about 2,000 words. But and I'm also coming out with some cozy sci-fi ones. And I only have kind of a prototype cover that I'm working on. These are much more shiny. But it'll be called The Explorers of the Immediate, or yes, The Explorers of the Immediate Tomorrow, but it'll have like a vellum foiled cover like this. But I also use like solo RPG tabletop tools to create all of these little stories, especially in every single one. I used the story engine and the deck of worlds really heavily in my initial fantasy release. I used it a bit, and I used Daggerheart, which I should make a video on. I used Daggerheart quite a lot in the horror ones, especially in the character creation, and that featured pretty heavily in my little horror ones. And and I also used Daggerheart again for character creation because it just worked like really, really well for the fantasy. But I'm also as I'm sort of finishing up like the development and production of the sci-fi ones, like I am using like Lore Master deck and like just kind of everything at my disposal to create the sci-fi ones. So if you like miniature fiction that you can actually read, and I will say if the text is a little too small for your eyes, all of them include digital versions that you can scan and put on your phone, and you can like make the text bigger or change it so that you can read it. I recommend checking them out. I hand make them all, which is kind of my life now, I guess. Which is interesting. But it's super fun.
I don't make books for people anymore, just pets.
These books are exclusively sized for songbirds.
Exactly. It's pocket sized for sure.
Yeah, love it. That's so cool. I love microfiction. I also love like format and genre breaking, and this is a really cool way to like challenge format and really have fun with it and bring some whimsy in. So super cool. You can find all of that on if you follow Claire at Faery Ink Press, you'll find the announcements about the new sci-fi collection, and you will find all of the details about where to find these really adorable, as Popcorn Antics is saying, so cute microfiction books. So, but Claire, thank you for joining us. It was really, really cool to have you on. It's always a pleasure to jam with you and come up with some cool creative stuff. And at some point, I'll send you what we concoct in 5e with these characters so you can take a look at it before we go live.
Love it. Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
So if you want to bring up our next guest, Murky, I'm just going to quickly take a picture of this so that we have it saved for later.
Yes, and for those of you who are just joining us, we are just a little quick reset here. We are the Story Engine. I'm Moroki, this is Eric, and through the screen is Peter. And we're celebrating Free RPG Day, which is an amazing event that's happening all over the world where your local game store is sharing a lot of cool, special RPG and like tabletop RPG game-related things from various publishers, including ourselves. We have included in this year's Free RPG Day a sampler pack of Lore Master's deck, which is our third deck in our system. We actually are just coming off our third birthday celebration. We did a week-long celebration for Free RPG Day. God, so many words. A week-long celebration for our birthday, which has now accumulated in Free RPG Day. The sampler pack is 35 cards. It's about 10%, a little bit over 10% of our deck, which is 300 cards. So hopefully get a chance, if you haven't had a chance yet, to go check out your local store and pick one up and give it a shot. We are having a 10% store-wide sale today at storyenginedeck.com. And we are about to be joined by Clark Rowenson to do some lore creation with us. So Clark R. Rowenson is an award-winning author, blogger, and writing coach that studies magic systems like others study oil painting. That's a lot of work. His prime directive is to help storytellers where their stories go beyond reality. While Clark is a corn-fed, born and raised Nebraskan, he currently lives in Southern California with his unbelievably supportive wife and ridiculously cute dog. You're going to have to tell us what dog is it. You can visit crrowenson.com or his YouTube channel, The Magic Engineer, to witness, fuel, or join his obsession. And your obsession, of course. In addition to being a magic-obsessed nut job, Clark is also a writing coach. In fact, the only thing he loves more than writing in magic systems is helping people. If something in your magic system or story is broken, doesn't feel right, or seems to be more difficult to do than it should be, Clark is here, and he's here to help. So, Clark is going to be here to help us today in doing a little bit of lore building. So, bringing to the stage, Clark!
Hello.
A little bit of magic engineering myself.
Yeah. And hopefully you guys can hear me all right. It looks like everything is picking up good. So
yeah, audio's looking good.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on. I'm always excited to chat with you guys.
Yeah, it's always so much fun jamming, and you joined for last year's speed world building streams. This is you 2 for 2 on doing our speed creation challenge. Although this year we've got the empty because we're going to try and actually make a usable fragment of 5e deployable content out of this.
Excellent.
So it'll be fun. It'll be super cool.
And hello to everybody who's saying hi in chat. But yeah, I'm excited. I always have fun jamming with you guys.
Sweet. Well, what I figure we'll do is we'll jump right into the creative stuff, and then we're going to reserve some time at the end to do a little post game, looking at what we built, what we like about it, what we might do with it, and also to hear about the new projects you've been working on and get to share those with folks. And yeah, Popcorn Antics is a fan of Clark's already. Yeah, as the magic engineer has a ton of amazing advice for world building. And I know I've popped into the channel numerous times to kind of like I tend to be much more of a like loosey-goosey magic world builder. I'm very much like the rules are whatever I feel like, and it's very nice to have something that is like, no, here's why the consistency or thinking about it in a more consistent way can really actually add to the depth and consistency of your story. That's why it matters.
And also why the loosey-goosey stuff has a place and can work, right? It's about putting it with the right stories. And I'm excited because I'm finally getting back into doing YouTube content. I took about 2 years off as I worked on some other projects. So finally some new videos, which is very exciting.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye out for those.
No, that's great. It's interesting because I hadn't quite made the full connection, mostly because I was looking at your handle for so much, but I recently had screenshotted one of your videos, Clark, for a presentation I was doing on crowdfunding. And then I was looking at the guest list, and I thought to myself, I was like, this face looks really familiar. And it was Eric, Peter, I brought your name up so much, but I hadn't fully made the full connection between Clark Rowenson and the Magic Engineer. And I just had this like smashing moment midweek where I was like, oh my God, I've been looking at this face for several weeks now.
For anybody that is interested, one of the links I just shared is something that like Clark did about using the story engine for making magic systems. So you can follow that link there, and you kind of see some of the stuff that he's done with the decks in the past. But I think the thumbnail for that video is the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. But yeah, no, I'm so happy to be here because I love the story engine and all of the stuff that you guys make. I use all of it a lot.
Well,
but yeah.
I was thinking about the blog that you wrote and the video that you did about creating like using magic in landscape. Like how would you bake magic into the environment? And that's why I thought it'd be really fun to basically keep that as a pivot foot, but move the other foot in the direction of, well, then what would the biology look like? What lives in that landscape or lives in that environment that's magically infused? And I thought let's try and build a creature together, basically. Try and give it some magical traits and think about how it might tie into a magic system. And especially what we're going to be doing is thinking through the lens of, if we were dropping this creature into an RPG, could it be the basis of an interesting encounter? It doesn't have to be a combat encounter, right? We don't have to be fighting this thing. It might be like having to charm it or capture it or just track it down to figure out where it is. There's lots of ways you can interact with a creature that aren't just violence, or sometimes a good old smash 'em up fight with a Hydra is fun too. So we'll see what we get. We'll listen to the cards and we'll explore options and we'll talk about it. Cool.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it.
Yeah. For those of you who are joining just like a little bit later on as well, for all the little prompts that we're gonna, all the little lore clusters that we're gonna create today, we're also gonna turn into a little stat block, a little 5e stat block for you guys to use. It won't happen right away because you know, we humans got to put things together afterwards, but we'll share something. So if you guys follow us at Story Engine Deck on any of our social media channels, or subscribe to our newsletter, which you can do so on our website at storyenginedeck.com. We'll make sure we share that good news to you once it's all ready.
Cool. All righty.
All right, Peter.
Let's get it into it. So, we are going to make. I'm going to do 2 cards. We have some options here. We're going to make a creature. We have here, if you've not seen Lore Master's deck before, these are the primary card cues. Primary cards are like kind of just one-word cues for the kind of thing you might be making. These are creature cards. So we might be making a mosquito, a kangaroo, a dragon, a tiger, a marsupial, a crane, an orchid, or a leopard. What are you thinking so far?
Mosquito. Like, don't get me wrong. I love dragons. Kangaroo would be fun, but like mosquito is unique, and there's already a bunch of stuff that we could do with that. So that seems weird and interesting.
I agree. And yeah, what you'll find is with most of the creature cards, there's a mix of like general category things and then hyper-specific things. So dragon, lots of ways to do a dragon. That was our kind of like, you can do a lot of different things with dragon. Mosquito is like, that's a pretty specific animal. What could be going on there?
I don't know. You remember that live stream where you ended up with the pelican? That pelican went places that we never imagined that a pelican could ever go.
Fully agree.
Which is the point of the deck, and that's what we're gonna do here. Like, it's gonna be a mosquito by the end.
Yeah, love it. All right, so here, flipping this over, we're gonna give a secondary cue to our mosquito. Our mosquito could have a background where it's actually hybrid with another creature. So we draw another creature card to give it mixed traits. It could have a trait where it has a proboscis, beak, or snout. A trait where it has sexual multimorphism, which is to say that the different sexes of this creature all present really differently in terms of their like physical traits. And a trait where it communicates via gestures or patterns.
Ooh, that's a really interesting card. The proboscis is obvious, but the hybrid is always fun.
Hybrid's fun.
The sexual multimorphism could be interesting. I also really like that communicates with gestures or parts, because maybe them doing something with sound and frequency. I don't know. Do you guys have any gut instinct on the communication versus the hybrid? Those are the 2 I'm leaning towards.
We could throw it to the chat for a vote here if we wanted and see what the chat would like. Rookie, do you want to explain the voting rules and conduct the vote here?
Yeah, so for folks who are just joining, the way the vote is that you can have your answer queued up. Don't hit enter yet. Don't send it yet. First to 3 wins, so that we'll count you down from 3, 2, 1. First to 3 to go. And Peter, can you just give maybe some cue options, unless we're corner tucking?
No, we're not corner tucking. I'm just covering the options that we're not voting for.
Oh, okay.
So you have a background where it's hybrid with another creature. You can vote for hybrid, or a trait where it communicates via gestures or patterns, and we'll say communicates if you want to vote for that.
Okay. Like we already have 2 votes for a corner tuck. But in the meantime, we will try and see if the vote will end up going to 3. So we have hybrid or gestures. So you can vote in 3, 2, 1, and vote.
I feel like one of those bands that like everyone always says play the song when they go on stage. Like our song is the corner tuck.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to get a bunch of votes for corner tuck instead.
Just Freebird.
Yeah.
That being said, 2 votes for hybrid right now, 1 for communicate, and then 2 for corner tuck. Specifically, they're saying when in doubt, corner tuck. The thing was is that I actually hadn't even realized whether we could corner tuck it yet in the moment, but it is I mean, we could just corner tuck it.
I mean, yeah, let's corner tuck. Let's
do it. All right. We've got our hybrid mosquito something that gestures or uses patterns to communicate.
Oh, Peter, do you want to throw a focus sleeve on the mosquito?
Yes,
as
that's
well?
a good call. Just so we block off the ones we're not using. Where did I
Yes.
put those? There they are. All right.
That way we
nice.
can see a little bit more.
Yeah, especially it's
I don't have those.
yeah, it's one of the one of the accessories that, like, if for depending on if how much clutter your brain filters or doesn't filter, can be very helpful.
Yeah, no, I like that. I haven't seen those. That's great.
I find their help for me, like, because I designed the decks, I kind of see the matrix a little bit with them, so I'm good at ignoring the things I'm not using. But when I'm teaching how to use it, they're invaluable because people will see like this tucked here and be like, well, then what about that? Is it tiger? Tiger. What about the tiger? And I'm like, oh, we're not using the tiger. We've already deleted the tiger from our brains, haven't we? No, we haven't.
It's like ignore the tiger. A thing you would never say if there was an actual tiger. It's like just
exactly so.
Well, that also helps for having a clear picture at the end, right? I like that. That's good.
Yeah. And the nice thing we did with the focus sleeves too is that they actually are just a touch lighter, touch larger than our standard sleeves, because we have standard protective sleeves as well. So for folks who actually have their decks fully sleeved, you don't actually have to unsleeve it to put the focus sleeve on. You can actually just put the focus sleeve right on top of your sleeve.
Nice.
Okay, let's find out what our mosquito is hybrid with. And so here, if you are joining us, these are link queue icons. These tell you that we're going to draw more cards from the deck to find out what this link connects to. So our mosquito could be hybrid with another creature. That could be fish, antelope, cactus, eagle, bear, anglerfish, fungus, or falcon.
I'm really liking the antelope and the anglerfish. And let's go with antelope because that's just weirder.
Cool. I'm trying to picture just what the morphology is here, and I'm struggling. But that's what I like about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you what I've got in my head at the moment.
Yeah, please.
Which is very much like an antelope, where it primarily jumps around, but then it has the long mosquito beak. I'm thinking maybe cat size, and then it has the wings so it can do like longer jumps.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I also think if it's got the kind of mosquito, if it's got some kind of mosquito proboscis thing going on, having some kind of horns in the counter direction could just be kind of cool visually, like the thing backward.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of neat. Make a cool
I'm trying to decide if it's like, if it has fur or if it has like whatever the heck covering that bugs have. Do we call it fur?
Exoskeleton?
Hair? No, but like hairs. Is it like bug hairs or is it like fur?
Oh, right.
What is it, like cilia?
I think it's, let's go down the middle. I think it's like a moth, right? So it's fuzzy
you
like
picked
a moth.
Maroki's least favorite animal.
It's like, I literally have, it's like my only phobia. I'm not afraid of anything.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I'm literally like, I'm not afraid of spiders. I'm not afraid of centipedes. I'm not really afraid of anything, but moths I have a true phobia of, and that is just gross.
What about butterflies? What if we go with
I'm okay with butterflies. I'm okay with butterflies.
It's not really fur at all. It's just kind of like pattern scales like butterflies.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, and they can use the patterns to communicate.
Yeah.
Okay. Rad. I love it. Okay, cool. Let's give our mosquitolope some more traits. I was doing that as a placeholder, but now that I say it, I like the sound of it. So we're going to draw another creature card. We're going to flip it over because the secondary side is the side that has cues for adding details to our creature. There could be a background to this creature where it turned the tide in a pivotal battle, and we would draw an event card to find out more about that battle. We could give it a trait where it has claws, fangs, or mandibles. A trait where it's a pack hunter or a herd dweller. Or a trait where it's a pollinator, which, fun fact, I think mosquitoes are pollinators in real life.
Oh, are they? I wonder if it's just
I thought they were
some
disease carriers. I know they carry the Nile disease.
I mean, I it seems like any insect has like a somewhat % chance of being a pollinator, but
they are accidental pollinators. The females are. Or no, sorry, the males are. The males are, because the males don't bite. I'm not sure which species this is relevant to, but the males don't bite. They tend to feed on nectar, and they can accidentally pollinate through that.
Yeah. I'm trying not to just shoehorn this into like a combat encounter, but the pack hunters thing is
I know, it's right
that's
there.
so good.
It's so good. Because here's the thing:
Yeah.
if we're gonna make it a combat encounter, we can then give them some interesting pack hunting tactics. Like we'll think of something to work with that makes that interesting and different.
Yeah. Let's go with pack hunter because
Okay.
I think we can still come up with options that don't have to be combat with that, but that's very interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that you're right. Actually, a like rescue the prey kind of thing could be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. I'm getting very excited about the ensuing encounter. Let's go ahead and draw another card here. This will be the last trait we'll give it, and then we can start looking at either expanding out on it or starting to build an encounter around it. We can say they have a background where they're used as mounts or work animals by a faction. A trait where they can only be born or hatched in flame. A trait where they are made from energy, frequency, or an energy, frequency, or element.
Huh.
Or a trait where they're bipedal or humanoid.
Oh, these are some real curveballs.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out about the mounts. Can we have brownies?
Yeah. Of course we can have brownies.
Like that's what I would like. Is if
Yeah.
they're used as mounts as like a faction of brownies or sprites or pixies or something like that.
Yeah. Done and done. We'll tuck that there, and what we'll do is we'll follow the link queue. And by the way, when a link queue is in brackets, it means that it's optional. You don't have to draw that card if you don't want to. You could just say that in general, like everyone uses these as mounts. In this case, we're saying one specific faction does, so we were going to draw the faction card. We'll pull our faction here, but the thing that we can keep in mind is that any information that, like Clark has said, is stuff that we can bring to the prompt as we're choosing it. So we're already thinking about some kind of faction that is made of a tiny creature, whether it's a sprite. We had imp earlier, whether it's an imp. So let's go ahead and take a look at a community of these things, a posse of these little creatures, an empire of these little creatures, or a consortium of these little creatures.
Consortium and empire are really, really calling.
More combat.
Does somebody have the specific definition of a consortium? Like that's more mercantile stuff, right?
I believe so.
Like I have the version in my head, but I don't know if that is correct.
Yeah, I believe it's something like a mercantile conglomerate, but let's take a look. A collaborative or alliance of individuals, businesses, or governments. So it's not always mercantile, but often it is. That are usually working towards a shared goal or common end.
I think the easy grab is empire, so let's go with consortium.
Okay.
I just want to pour one out for posse because I just kind of love the idea of a little band of like Old West bandit pixies.
I was
just riding on mosquito. Like
I was
debating that. Yeah.
I was also thinking of posse and kind of like the term and like when we used to say like a posse of ladies, and it's like a bunch. It's like it's like the little antelope or like antelitos are just actually are like the fancy horses for like the ladies,
the posh ladies.
Yeah, the posh ladies. They actually like you have to be of like a certain status to be riding these.
If you're not one of the posh ladies, you just have to ride the mosquito.
Yeah, or like it's like only the like it has to be specifically the women because they're like the hunters because they're the mosquitoes that bite. So if you're like if you're not like a fancy lady, you ride the male ones, which probably are smaller and wimpier.
I mean. You've convinced me. Let's switch this to posse now because I think I mean we technically buried it, but we do know that mosquitoes have the sexual dimorphism.
They do.
So I think we should steal that anyway because they could be using these mosquitoes both as like the hunter side and as like the farmer and gathering side, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can unpour one out for Posse because Posse's back, baby.
Which I don't know if this is a problem anybody else has, but there's a lot of times where even the sides that I end up covering end up getting worked in anyway. Yeah, so like we've already included pollinator, we've included the sexual dimorphism.
Yeah.
Like it happens a lot.
It's in your brain and you can't get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then we have some time here. I'm just going to check on our timing because we'll probably stop the prompt and do our 5 minutes of like post game at about 2:35 Eastern or Atlantic, which is going to be 2:35 Eastern. So we have 15 minutes here. So we can learn more about this posse and pull that out. We can try and construct an encounter around this, perhaps pulling like a location card to figure out like where an encounter might happen. Or because you are very familiar with Lore Master's deck and how to use it, if you see another way that you might want to develop this or develop an encounter based on another card type, we could pull something out and explore that as well. What are you thinking you'd like to explore about this creature?
I think I actually want to explore the history and maybe some event where they were important.
Cool. Love it. Let's scooch this over to the side then, and we'll draw an event card. Boop. All right. So these are event cards for creating events in sort of the timeline of your world and seeing how those connect to different types of lore. And we might create here a tragedy, a conflagration, a desertion, or a solstice.
I'm not gonna lie, when it was upside down, I thought that was desolation, and it was very, very intrigued by that.
I think that might be a card. Hold on. I think that might be a card because I really love the word desolation, and I think about it weirdly often because of Desolation Sound on the West Coast, which is just the coolest sounding name for a place and also for a metal band. So I can't remember if I kind of like kept it in the deck through all the iterations, or if I eventually cut it because it is a really specific.
I'm not sure this one made it, but yeah, I could be wrong.
No, it's all good. Let's actually go with like I thought it was desolation. I do like desertion though, so let's actually go with desertion.
We'll go with desertion, and I'm going to just satisfy my own curiosity about this really quickly. Okay.
I know, like, so a friend of mine was talking to me yesterday. He works in sales. They specifically make like environmentally friendly insulation. But anyways, he was just talking about like he was researching regions in the States. I can't remember which state it was, but he told me that he found out there was like a city named Truth or Consequences. Like that's just the name of the city.
Oh.
And he's like, can you imagine having to write that all the time or something? Like a city, like Truth or Consequences? And then he was looking and he's like, I hate it. It's apparently named after a game show. he's like, that's the reason.
That's so much less cool than any headcanon that anyone would come up with instinctively upon hearing the name.
It is cool because then any mail from there just seems vaguely threatening, no matter what you do.
Yeah, it's true. I'm just going to mention Desolation is in the very top row of my spreadsheet of unused extras from Lore Master's deck, meaning it was like this close to being in the deck, and it was the last thing I cut.
Yeah, that's why you thought it was a card, because it made it so close to the end. It had almost like it virtually became a card.
I think in playtests people kept saying like, is a Desolation like, is it actually like an event? And I'm like, the Desolation of Smaug. Yes, it's an event. But I think it's just such a weird way to phrase an event, so it got cut. Anyway, I'm using up Clark's time on my own soapbox, so climbing down from the soapbox. Desertion, here we go. Let's find out more about our desertion. So the way that the events secondary cues work, by the way, is they're either catalysts or fallouts or hybrid catalyst fallouts, meaning that they either caused the event or led to and contributed to the event, or were a result of the event. So the catalyst for the desertion could be a sudden whim, which is very like pixie fairy brownie like.
We're going to another grade.
Fallout, where the construction or landscaping of a memorial happened because of it. This could be a catalyst or a fallout. The meteoric rise of a figure or faction. A trait where whatever happened was intended as controlled destruction. And then back to our sudden whim. What are you thinking, Clark?
Meteoric rise of a figure or faction, for sure.
Ooh. All right, and we'll draw a figure and faction because of the slash there to figure out which figure or faction had a meteoric rise here. Or do we think it's no? It wouldn't be the pot. It could be the posse.
It could be the posse. Maybe it wasn't like a super snobby like classist group until this particular desertion happened, and somehow the posse rose to power because of it.
I don't know. I'm in my head right now. The posse's turning into more of a refugee or resistance group.
Oh, okay.
Could be the.
Yeah, we can see
The
some options.
consortium could come back.
The consortium
It's
could
true.
come back. Yeah. Well, we've got for the faction here an inquisition, the meteoric rise of an inquisition, an assembly, an entourage, or a subculture. And then also shout out to Eric for subculture, and he gave me so many. Originally I was like, I'm not sure about this one, and you found so many interesting ways to use it when we were playtesting, and I really pitched me on that, and I really liked that. Minion for the figure, a diver for the figure, an entrepreneur, or a justice. The noun being like justice of the peace type character.
It's either Inquisition or Justice.
We could tuck both and just say it was like a justice at the head of an inquisition.
Yeah, let's do that. I like that.
Cool.
It was just Mel Brooks's 100th birthday, so Inquisition seems fitting.
Inquisition, and that's probably all we can include.
It's okay. Worst case scenario is that the entire video goes mute for like 15 seconds. That's like copyright.
Okie dokie. Let's give some more details to our event here. We could have a catalyst where it was caused by the coronation of an improbable monarch. A fallout where it caused a new nickname for a material. So an existing material got a new nickname. A catalyst or a fallout where it caused the resurrection or was caused by the resurrection of a dead language. Or a trait where it was all part of an elaborate spell or ritual. The whole thing.
Fallout, resurrection of a dead language.
Ooh,
Love that.
Tell me about that.
So it depends on how intelligent we want to make the mosquitoes. They don't have to be super intelligent, but we know that they communicate with gestures or patterns. So I'm wondering if it turned into a thing where it was like an old animal husbandry skill of being able to like speak to the mosquito lopes or whatever.
Yeah.
And they had to relearn to do that because they were going back to some of their like nomadic migratory patterns as a people of being like, we can't be involved with this anymore. So they had to like relearn an ancient skill of communicating with the mosquito lopes.
Yeah. Love it.
The mosquito
I like that a lot.
whisperer.
Yeah. Mosquito Whisperer. Yeah. Cool. All right. Sold to Mosquito Whisperer. We love that.
The thing is too is like mosquitoes in general have like a humming sound. Like they make a really high pitched buzzing sound when they come near you. So if we use that sound, if that's the sound that we're thinking about, that particular frequency.
Yeah. And that's part of where, like, especially if we go with pixies or some kind of small humanoid who has wings, where it's then a thing where they use their wings to imitate the mosquito wings.
Yeah.
Like that starts to be some really fun, cool stuff, like potential. Now I want to do a druid who has an animal companion of a mosquito lope who is a little pixie.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
The interesting thing too, then it means that it's a language that can't even necessarily be picked up by certain species, because if they don't have wings or some sort of appendage that could mimic that sound, it's just impossible to actually be able to develop this particular language at all.
Right. And it doesn't mean the mosquito lopes have to be super smart or anything. It could just be that's what makes them trainable, is being able to communicate to them in this way.
Yeah. Very cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I never thought we would make such a domestic mosquito.
I
think mosquito is like, that thing's gotta die now. And here we are.
Yeah, and the weird thing is because they're small, like they're like, we were saying like cat size, probably a little bit smaller than a cat if we're looking at sprites or brownies.
Yeah, maybe rabbit or rat size. Yeah.
But and like now they're like sort of fuzzy and they have like little antelope. Them like they're becoming cute. So Clark, when we were on with Claire, when we were talking about like cute animals, we were talking about creating animal companions and familiars and how they are cute, and Disney sells a lot of plush about them and that they're adorable. I never thought it would also create a mosquito that might be cute. I might actually want to pet one.
might be merchandisable.
Yeah, might be merchandisable.
We did it. We made
guys. We cracked
mosquitoes
the code.
marketable.
Yeah. Mosquito merch. Yeah.
We're gonna be billionaires.
It's like we're gonna start making these. Somebody's gonna be like, "You're just in the pocket of Big Mosquito."
Big Mosquito is just crane fly. Okay, people get them confused all the time. Okay, cool. So here, I think let's give it one more trade, and then I'm gonna pause just so that we have time to think about
Yeah.
the encounter. To think about what
Yeah.
the encounter looks like. So we'll do one last trade here, Cleric. We've got a catalyst, a secret told, or a promise broken. A fallout, rapid changes in use of technology. A catalyst or fallout, illness transmitted by a species. Or a trait where it was meant, the whole thing was meant to stay within one family or faction.
Yeah, the trait for sure.
Cool.
And I think that faction is just the posse. I don't know that
Okay.
we need to draw again.
Yeah. Then what we'll do is really quickly throw some link tokens down. Again, if you're joining us and you didn't see the earlier segment, these tokens are just a way of tracking connections where rather than drawing a new card, we're going to reuse an existing prompt that's already on the board. And we are going to remember that with this little trail of tokens.
Yeah, and for folks who grab the sampler pack, the link tokens are part of the actual full Lore Masters deck, so it is included in the deck.
Nice.
Cool. Alrighty, so I'm going to do a really quick recap on what we've got in terms of existing ingredients, and then let's talk about an encounter for this here. We've got an antelope that is, we got a mosquito that's hybrid with an antelope, so it's kind of a hybrid creature. It communicates through gestures or patterns, which we've been interpreting as both like the buzz frequency or buzzing of its wings, but also potentially patterns on the wings or patterns on the body, the kind of like butterfly type patterns that it can communicate through. It's got a trait where it's a pack hunter or a herd dweller. And a background where it's used as mounts within a posse of some kind of pixie creature. Now, we know that the posse formed out of a desertion, which was caused by the meteoric rise of a justice and an inquisition as part of the, somehow connected to the posse. It was caused by the resurrection of a dead language, the ability to speak to mosquitoes, and it was meant to stay within the posse, whatever happened, but clearly did not. Okay, cool. So what are we thinking for if we were going to have an encounter or a scene or a little story for the players here?
There's a couple of low-hanging fruit ones, and then we can stretch more if we want. Like, there is obviously a thing where you encounter them when they're being pursued by people from the Inquisition, and you need to help the posse deal with that. And like that's a potential one. We've also got one where now that there's sort of this nomadic group that's traveling, and as a side thing, my brain went down a whole trail related to like the Mongols and the nomadic people from that part of the world. Not all of them did this, but there are some that would travel with cattle, and specifically they would bloodlet the cattle in order to get the iron they need. So now I'm like, they use the female mosquitoes to help them do their own kind of bloodletting, and then they have the male mosquitoes to help with like fruit harvest and that kind of thing.
Right.
But you could have a thing where dog hair in my eye. As
I had to pull dog hair off of a couple cards before putting it on the camera. I feel you.
So there's them being chased by the Inquisition. It could be a situation where maybe some of their mosquito lopes are sick and they need help dealing with that, or maybe they have a youngster, somebody who's going through coming of age, who needs to is struggling with the language. There's so many different things we could do here, or even you need to barter some kind of agreement with them so they can lead you through an area that like they are skilled in navigating and not many other people are.
Yeah.
Like lots of stuff that we could do.
Okay, so I've got a pitch that combines a couple of these then. Because we do love a combat encounter, and helping the posse escape the Inquisition could be really interesting, but I love the idea of it being something skill-based happening as part of it. So I'm wondering if the posse is like pinned down or something by the Inquisition, and one of these got away. The party sees this creature that looks kind of freaky and can't speak to them, but it's clearly trying to communicate through like patterns and buzzing. And then we've got potential for like the druid to speak with animals. We've got potential for an animal check for some kind of communication or performance to communicate back. And it's kind of a like Timmy fell in the well Lassie situation.
Yeah.
Where it's trying to get the party to follow them to the place where then they can get involved and help. Something like that could be neat. Because we combine two of those things, just what you said, like the language challenge and the combat save the people challenge.
Yeah. I really like that. And also my brain is then expanding it to that could become a short quest line once you're connected with these people. Because something I did in one of my lit RPG books which I think might have been from a prompt from the story engine. I used the story engine for some of the world building and stuff like that. I did. My co-author didn't. And just a quick thing that I'm supposed to say so the lawyers don't get upset. LMBPN owns the covers and copyright and stuff to all of this. This is not an endorsed ad of the books or anything like that. But one of the missions they ended up going on is it's a mission to go collect fruit that is important to these monsters that they're dealing with. So now I'm seeing something like that as it's a like we need, like our people need help, and or even if it is just a lost mosquito and it guides you back to the group, and now you end up going on this quest where you have to learn about the ecosystem and stuff like that. And anyway, my brain is already off and running and where this could lead as a fun whole little side arc in the adventure you're running.
Yeah, well then let's definitely, what we'll do when we put together the encounter details or suggested encounters is we'll say like suggested story threads to develop out, and we can put some of those suggestions as ways the DM can customize this or pull this into a larger quest as they want. But
I forgot that with every word I said, I was giving you guys more work with what you need.
No, we love it. This is the fun stuff.
We'll take it on, and I'll throw another little plug here. Something it's kind of like the quick start prompts that we just released, which are a whole bunch of little lore clusters that have some little threads you can pull on. If you want to do that as well. So
those are fun to work on. But I was hoping to hear a little bit more about your Lit RPG trilogy, because it's the whole thing complete and out now?
Yeah, the whole trilogy is out, and actually the audiobook for book 1 should be coming out later this year. So this is Spawn Point, and this is the main character. Her name is Tafa. She is 40 years old, and it's her last chance at immortality. Because this is far in the future, they have developed the singularity, and that's part of how they're managing population, all that kind of stuff. You can go through a process to be uploaded into the singularity. There's a high chance she won't survive, but if she does, she can pick from hundreds of different worlds of various story genres and types of environments and start just living her life as an immortal external, having adventures, going on quests, ultimately getting her own bloodthirsty vine beast companion. That's actually him here. It's not a cloak. It's a little vine serpent snake that she has who wants to eat everything.
It's so cute.
The problem is this world should have a bunch of other players, and it doesn't. She's alone, and she shouldn't be. And she has to figure out why before the forces that want her gone make her gone. And that's kind of the arc with the whole trilogy, is figuring out what's going on, who wants the externals gone, and how to deal with it.
Very, very cool. And so this is the New Eternity Lit RPG trilogy, and Spawn Point is the first of the 3, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it goes to Questline Sabotage and ends with External Rebellion.
Awesome. And where can folks find the trilogy? Where's the best place for people to pick it up?
Amazon is currently the best place, but I do highly recommend, especially in vein of Free RPG Day, go to your libraries and you can request it, and they can order it through Ingram Spark or your local bookstores. And go talk to them and see if they are willing and interested in ordering it directly through Ingram Spark.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so go to your local library and talk to them about through Ingram Spark ordering Spawn Point or the New Eternity Lit RPG trilogy, because these are really fun, cool books, and we know lots of folks would love to check them out. Not just you. So having it in your local library is a great place to bring the book into your community. We love it.
Yeah, I actually love that mention there. And of course, if you guys love Clark and want to see more of his work, you can follow him on YouTube at The Magic Engineer. Are there other social channels as well, Clark, that they can follow you at?
That's basically it. I have the handle on other platforms and stuff, but I do not use them.
You know what? That's totally fair. You know where your best work is shared. So make sure you find Clark on YouTube at The Magic Engineer. Clark, thank you so much for joining us and creating this shockingly adorable mosquito creature.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah. And one last one last thing. Go ahead.
You made me reconsider my biases against mosquitoes. It's like you've made me a better person today.
You can still be biased against our mosquitoes because we don't have mosquitoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if anybody is interested, feel free to email me, or if you want us to meet a chat with these guys sometime and talk about how I use the different decks that they made for these books. I mean, I would love to nerd out about that. That's always fun.
Yeah, we would love to do a feature on how that came together. So we'll definitely chat about that in the follow-up. That sounds awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you
All
so
right.
much, guys.
Thanks a lot. Take care. Alrighty. So, we are going to do a quick reset, and then we are going to bring on our next guest. But Roki, why don't you just reintroduce the stream in case anyone is joining us late?
Yes, for anyone who's joining us late, we are the Story Engine. We're here today celebrating Free RPG Day. I'm Maroki. This is Eric, and through the screen is Peter. We are essentially the little triad of the Story Engine. And if you haven't been on our live streams before, these are the faces that you often see. But we're going to be joined by some amazing faces, other faces today. As you saw, Clark has just created an awesome creature with us. Earlier, we were joined by Claire Marshall to create an NPC. And very soon, we will be joined by another special guest. We're celebrating Free RPG Day today. If you haven't stopped by your favorite local game store, please do, or you can go on Free RPG Day's website to see what local game stores are participating to bring to you fun, like fun miniatures, dice, accessories, like other TTRPG related accessories or other mini campaigns. For us, we are sharing a sampler pack of Lore Master's deck. This is it right here. I wish I had the full deck actually on hand. Actually, Eric, I'm going to bump you off the screen so you can grab the full deck. So for anyone who picked up the sampler pack or got a chance to play with the sampler pack today, I want to also get a chance to show you what the full deck looks like, because the sampler pack is only 35 cards, but the full deck is 300 double-sided cards, and it comes with doing. Eric has become Lore Master's deck. And it comes with a bunch of win tokens, which you'll also see in action today. If you're interested in the deck, got a chance to play it, you want more, you can visit us at storyenginedeck.com, where we have a 10% off store-wide sale today that is going to run until midnight Eastern time. And one thing I actually didn't get a chance to shout out about Free RPG Day as well is they're giving back. So like they have an amazing initiative that they did this year, where they have partnered with Doctors Without Borders to raise money to support the organization all around the world. And they actually collaborated with a bunch of other amazing creators and streamers to raise money. Shout out to Fawn and Games, who actually hosted 2 streams using Story Engine Deck to create prompts and raise money for the charity. So kudos to all the people who participated in the campaign. Kudos to Free RPG Day for running such an amazing initiative. And you can always visit. I think they probably have the information on their website if you yourself want to consider making a donation before the end of Free RPG Day. But I think it's time to bring on our final guest.
I think so.
To create one more lore cluster with us. We have Weston, who is AKA Arcane Anthems. They are an online creator who has built up a community of over 250,000 followers in the tabletop gaming space. He hosts and guests on panels at conventions and online, reviews products, performs, runs actual plays, makes music and videos about tabletop gaming, and so much more. He has collaborated with Wizards of the Coast, Darrington Press, and now here with us at the Story Engine. So let's welcome to the stage Arcane Anthems. Magic.
Hey,
Oh, wow,
everybody. So good to see y'all again. Man, it's been since Gen Con last year, I think. It was when we
I
last
believe
saw
so.
each other.
So about a year ago. Just under.
Yeah. I remember you not only for the amazing songs you have created around the Story Engine and Dungeon Shrouds as well, I believe, but also the really snazzy glasses, like what do you call it? Like
the glasses chains?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, from Ynir. Yeah, those things are sick.
Yeah. That's drip right there. That's drip.
Oh man, I'm nearsighted, so I don't need my glasses today. But
I am nearsighted is you can see near, but you can't see far.
correct.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm nearsighted. That's what I am.
I am also nearsighted.
I'm very nearsighghted.
Yeah, Eric is probably the most nearsighted out of all of us.
What a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
We are all four-eyed.
Sick.
But
Well,
yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I'm looking forward to creating something new, and that's the thing that I love about y'all's products. Is like I wonder what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna pull out my deck, because I do a lot of one shots, and sometimes I'm like, okay, how many characters, how many hundreds of characters have I made? And I just want to let almost like the cards guide my creative process. It just makes it like really straightforward and fun, because then I get to improv with kind of myself, which is cool. But yeah, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I just
No.
stoked to be here.
We love hearing how people use the decks.
We love when people say nice things about the decks. Yeah.
Well, our first guest, Claire Marshall. So she's an author, but she does a lot of solo RPG. We were trying to talk about what it's like trying to do solo RPG. We're like, you're trying to have an NPC that's not you, but it's from your brain. How do you do that? But improv with yourself as a sentence is a really great way to actually describe solo RPG.
Oh yeah,
just improv with yourself. So I'm locking that away for later because that kind of explains the sensation of it nicely. Cool.
Yeah.
I just played a solo TTRPG called Ion Heart. Which is like really cool. It's kind of like a lo-fi mech, and you're in space, and it's you and your mech, and then like you grow together and you fly around the universe, and like it's just like the idea of, you know, like we've normalized the idea of like playing a solo, you know, video game where you're just playing that by yourself, but then there's this idea of like, oh, you're just like doing a make your own adventure thing. But yeah, it's the same thing. Like like what do you mean? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it can be even more fulfilling because the story isn't being told to you, like you are the story that is being told, which is like so much more impactful. Anyway.
Yeah, you brought up two words here that I think a lot of us elder millennials for us dating ourselves here, I think like are striving for, which is lo-fi and fulfillment. Is that like there's a lot of us, I would say for myself, like one of the reasons why I don't play a lot of like games anymore is I'm generally like resistant to anything with high drama and combat or anything that's gonna make me feel stressed in some ways.
Funny.
I don't mind sitting as a passenger, like Eric is playing Hades 2 right now, and I like sitting as a passenger. But I myself don't necessarily want to be engaged. Like I even remember when I play Pokemon, when I'm like down to my lowest health of my final Pokemon, I would get like so worked up. And this is Pokemon. So
okay, hold on. I want to trigger everyone for a second. Dinu.
Yeah.
Low health chime. Instant anxiety.
You know why?
Just rifling through your potions, seeing if you have some kind of elixir or something to boost up your health. I mean, you're
burning through your shitty potions and get like 30 HP back over and over again because it's all you got left. But like I think like now, you know, when I'm seeking games, I like finding ones that I think are just a little bit more nourishing for me. Whereas something like Ironheart Fate definitely seems like that kind of thing because it's just an experience. Like you're going on a journey. There's not necessarily like I not that I've played the game, so I don't know if you actually are meant to find a destination, but the idea that you could just drift a little bit is like, and that none of it comes with a super high stake, and you're just enjoying that like companionship or exploring the relationship or exploring yourself. Sounds like exactly what I'm looking for these days.
Yeah, it's that in particular is a phenomenal game. You're also talking to somebody who like plays Valorant and has played League and plays Overwatch and plays Apex Legends and like so I'm like a competitive gamer. So sometimes I need something a little bit, you know, more adventurous, something a little bit more exploratory, something that grounds me and doesn't tilt me quite as much as some of these games can. And again, something that allows you to connect with your creative self, and you know, tell yourself your own bedtime story. It's kind of a beautiful thing.
That's a good way of putting it too.
Yeah. And not that I know what Monster Hunter Rise is, but like how
if we're going to be making a magic item, this is the game to
Yeah, no joke.
Well, here, why don't we start diving into the creative process then and see what kind of magic item we can make. If we want to, we could try and make like an epic monster fighting item. We can go any way that we want with it. But whatever we make, we're gonna try to after the stream, Eric and I are gonna try and take it away and see if we can build a stat block for it for 5e. Because I think it'd be really cool for this to be something people could drop into their campaigns. Cool. All right, so I'm pulling up what we call the heart of the cards here.
All right.
And we're gonna swampy that around. And here we go. All right, so we're going to do object cards from Lore Master's deck. These are cards that help you create artifacts, equipment types, uniforms for factions, all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to draw 2 cards here so that we've got some options. Do we want to create a trident, a saw, a necklace, a jar, a sledgehammer? You can fight a monster with that.
Yeah.
A codex, a pair of monster fighting pants. We don't have to fight monsters. It's in my head now. A pair of pants, or a scroll.
I feel like I want to go the like Gashiakuda route and maybe do something that's like a piece of clothing that becomes something more.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all are watching that anime or not, but
I have not seen it.
so it's essentially an anime where the things that you treasure the most become your like they transform into something that can be used to fight monsters, essentially.
Okay, cool.
So I'm trying to think. I like the idea of a like a saw, like some kind of carpenter or some kind of this like something that has some history to it.
Yeah.
I remember on TikTok there for a while there was somebody who would restore old tools. And I like the idea of taking something that is like older and giving it power that has been like something that's ancestral almost, and has kind of gained power through the ages through its use, and it becoming this like tool that you then get to use to save the world. I think it's kind of a fun concept.
Yeah, I love that. Well, my wife loves watching tool restoration videos.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we have that on in the background in this household fairly often.
I feel like that is given that I love car restoration videos, and I think it's just like I just like seeing things brought back to life. I think I would also watch tool restoration videos.
100%.
Yeah, it's deeply satisfying.
Yeah. And they go hard. like they do not they're not cutting any corners. They're like restoring the screws and like removing all the rust and like trying to keep it as original as possible. It's really really
so I just bought an Edwardian 100-year-old home, and I've been I'm taking care of a lot of the like DIY, or at least I'm trying to. I'm becoming a DIY expert on the fly right now. But I've been deep diving into a lot of videos that talk about that, where when they're restoring something, it's not just about, oh, you want to restore a door. You're restoring like the hinges on the doors as well. And a lot of it is when you live in these old homes, it's just people caking years and years. It's like the landlord special, right? Painting over things again and again. And they're saying, well, you should just take these hinges off and throw them away. But it's like, no, it's about breaking down and peeling back all those layers of history, taking it all the way back down to brass tacks, so to say, and then like showing what the original beauty is all about.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I currently live in a house that my grandpa built in the
cool.
in like the early 60s. So it has a very mid-century modern vibe. And it was falling apart when we moved into it. So being able to restore every single room, and obviously make improvements, and there's better appliances now, there's better everything now. But I think we've restored 5 different bathrooms, like 2 different kitchens. Like we've kind of turned it into like a duplex situation. It's really satisfying to see how like as much as you want to restore something to its original, like you also there's always going to be a piece of you that you put into it. Yeah. It almost can't be helped, right? Which is kind of beautiful.
I definitely kind of like if you're talking about like generations of houses, and this saw, it's like you're like they built the homestead 8 generations ago, and the more generations you have, the more powerful the saw gets. Like every new person adds a little bit to it. If you don't maintain it, it loses a little bit of power. So you have to like.
Yeah.
Well, and I also I mean we're gonna add more cards to this, obviously, but this the idea that like the more you learn about your ancestors and the more you learn about like who they were and what they did with this tool, the more things you unlock with it too. Like this idea of gaining knowledge, unlocks new things, and you can consider that like leveling up, right? Like, so like as your character levels up, you unlock new things with the saw. A character at level 10 will be able to do these things with it. And then kind of, so narratively you're tying in your leveling up with your learning about the your ancestry. Anyway.
And
yeah, Peter, we should drop. Apparently,
I
with just the word "saw" alone, we've already
we have so many layers of prompts that we've already had. We'll see what the cards say, but like I like
exactly this. Like this, we could throw this all out the window too. That's a beautiful thing about this, right?
But saw is literally a very obscure synonym for an old piece of wisdom.
Really?
An old saw is a pearl of wisdom, like an old piece of wisdom. So it's like literally it being this carrier of knowledge. Like there's a fun little pun mixed in there.
That is
so
cool.
I like
I
it.
know that.
I like it.
Should we throw a focus sleeve on there?
Oh yes, good call. Yes. Before we proceed, sorry, I don't always remember to use them.
Focus.
Okay.
To help you focus.
Yeah, we got it.
All right, we've got our saw, and we're going to give it some traits here. So we've got a background where the saw was commissioned by a figure or a faction. The saw could have a background where it was the contributing cause of an event. A trait where it's sentient, just straight up a sentient saw. And then a trait where it has navigational or wayfinding properties.
Ooh, I like the sentient nature of it, and maybe again it doesn't talk to you in like a "Hey, how you doing" kind of way, but it talks to you through dreams. It talks to you through like these flashes of history. I think is a really like beautiful storytelling element of it. That it does have this life to it that has been in the same way that you would nurture a child. This thing has been nurtured throughout centuries.
Love it. I really like that. Okay, we'll go with sentient. Draw another trait here. So we've got a background where it was used in royal ceremonies. A background where it cannot leave or enter a particular location. A trait where it has living or mechanized properties. Or a trait where it's a multi-tool or it has a second function.
I do like how the multi-tool works. I've also been reading through Dungeon Crawler Carl right now. I'm on book, I think I just finished book 5. And they have these like safe rooms inside of Dungeon Crawler Carl where you can like have like people who help you. And I think that idea of like this saw being in this room where you go to is kind of a fun idea where that's where you learn, that's where you work.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But I think the idea of it being a multi-tool is cool. Cool. That it can become more than what it is, right?
Oh yeah,
on the surface.
So then we can draw some object cards to give it a multi-purpose or a second function, but also if we just feel like it's like the what's the in Harry Potter, the room of requirement. If it's just the tool of requirement that like takes the shape that's needed for whatever it is you're building, but then we don't have to draw more cards. We could just like say, I know what multi-tool means here. I'm not going to draw more cards, but we have the option to draw some more objects to give it additional functions or features. Well, what are you feeling to do with it?
I think that the idea that it is a saw, and like there's not just one kind of saw, right? There's a lot of different, there's tons of different types of saws. So the idea that it can change its shape into different saws to fulfill different purposes and have different effects is really cool. So it could become a circular saw, it could become a band saw, it could become like a bone cutting saw. It could it could become what it needs to be. Like it's still a saw. Yeah. But with all these different elements and these different traits, things it's been used for, it gains different abilities in whatever mode you need it to change into.
So I'm gonna do something I don't think I've ever had to do before. I'm gonna use the link tokens to refer back to the card itself. I don't think I've ever had to do this before in using this deck. So this is a really fun new use case.
Yeah, and the interesting thing I was thinking about too is like when you brought up so I won't lie, my brain clearly went down such a single funnel when I saw saws, like a hand saw, and that's literally all I thought. And then you were like so many different kinds of saws. I was like, what saws? What other ones? And then you mentioned, and then you mentioned circular saws. Like, oh yes, that is indeed another saw.
Table saws, band saws. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, oscillate, like there's so many.
Miter saw.
A Dremel is a saw.
But then I realized it's because I was like locking myself into kind of the fantasy universe where, you know, the only saw I could think about was like an old-fashioned handsaw. But it could be one of those situations where if it is a saw that becomes more powerful over generations, some of those multi-tool cases don't exist until later generations when there's new like advancements and new developments. So the circle saw or anything that requires like electricity or innovation or science doesn't come into play until later generations.
Yeah, I love that. Like it evolves with the time, which is what you're saying about like no matter what the way you use it will change it. Like the fact that it is both a tradition but also a living tradition, so like it grows and changes over time is super cool. Yeah, I'm definitely getting like artificer vibes.
Oh,
from,
hugely.
yeah.
I'm also thinking that maybe the saw isn't like the part that you hold, but it is the actual like blade of the saw that can then be attached to different things, and it's kind of this cutting piece that is the magical element.
Yeah.
And this cutting piece can be, you know, removed and put onto other things and removed there and put on almost like I think of it like kind of like a chain, right? And it magically changes to encompass whatever shape it needs to hold.
Yeah.
And I think there's also something, and I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but I feel like there's something interesting about cutting. Like there's something interesting about sharpening, and the care is like all in that blade.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
I like the idea that it's like it's magical and shape changing, but it still requires maintenance. Like I think that that's something that's very tools. Anyone who loves tools like has to have some relationship with maintenance, whether or not they want to. And so I like that idea that like it requires that care, even though like maybe the enchanter could have made it so that it doesn't ever need to be sharpened or derusted or anything, but they chose not to because they wanted that to be part of like the relationship with it. All right. Give it some more details. Background, where it was created or decorated with a material. A background where it was given as a gift to a figure or a faction. A trait where it has levitation or flight granting properties. Or a trait where it bears the likeness of a face.
That's terrifying. I hate that.
Saw face.
Don't like that at all. Nope. I think the idea that it was given as a gift, maybe from like a creator god to some, you know, some great, you know, carpenter of the past, and it's become this like tool of wisdom, or you know, it doesn't have to be a god, but like I'm thinking some kind of because like there's like Hephaestus, right, who's this like great inventor, and I don't know what do y'all think?
I like that. It also gives it something of like we've been sort of dancing around an origin as we think about it, and I feel like this will help us lock that in. So I'd be down for that.
I think that's fun.
And then what we can do is draw some cards there and see if something gets sparked for where that origin might have been. So we'll draw a figure and a faction here. So it could have been given to a hotshot carpenter, to an arbitrator, to an author, I did not rig this draw, to a craftsperson, just straight up.
There it is. Yeah,
there it is. And in case we are interested in faction options, a convention, a syndicate, a movement, or a team.
A movement. That one's the most interesting to me of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, a movement of craftspeople. Why would there need to be this like revolution in craftsmanship and in like making things with your own hands? What is something that would stop? Because I feel like that's very like tool making is so built into any like sapient race or species that what would fight against that?
Mass production, possibly. Like
interesting.
If these tools become more powerful because they're handed down through generations and require maintenance, there could be this like other uprising of just like mass produced tools, or tools that's just like you don't need to like keep your old tools, you can toss them and we can make actually new tools so fast because machinery is making new tools. And maybe it's like and like the idea that people are not upkeeping their old tools anymore because maybe it does require a lot of work to maintain it. Maybe there's a separate, like people are feeling disconnected from their history, so they don't actually want to be they don't really care to like keep something about their past. Like it's like, when you want to declutter of your grandparents' heirlooms, you're like, I don't need this dust collector anymore. You're like, this is going to be better. Or maybe people are actively discarding their old tools because maybe not everyone wants to inherit their family's past because it might not be the best past. So sometimes having a sentient tool is not what you want. Right.
Yeah, there are times where you don't want a sentient tool. That's
it's like, is this saw like powerful or just haunted?
Yeah.
Yeah, like one thing I was thinking about earlier, because we've created the saw and we've talked about it being a useful tool, and it seems like the tool is being used more for like in service to maybe something like building household or building things. But at the very start of the conversation, we were making jokes about whether we needed a tool to fight monsters. So what if at some point the saw actually became a weapon?
Yep.
And now there's blood in its hands, and it was never meant to be a killing tool, but then it killed, and that changes the trajectory of the tool. And that could be also it, is like one tool get corrupted, maybe like the movement wants to bring it back. Like how do we care for the tool in the way that it stops becoming a tool of destruction or death and back towards a tool of like building and creation?
I think what you're inspiring me to think about here is maybe this idea of far future, like industry, and has kind of destroyed. This is kind of post-apocalyptic all of a sudden, where you have this world that's been destroyed by like hyper consumerism, and you have all this junk everywhere, and now people are having to do things themselves now that like the resources to provide, to uplift that kind of hyper consumerism are gone, right? So now we have to do things with our hands again, and they find these types of tools, these weapons, these things that have, that used to serve people. And now we're trying to like rediscover the past of these craftsmen. Like maybe there's this hidden order, like that's what the movement is. Maybe there's this order of people who have been creating things forever, and high quality things that have lasted through the generations. And these are the things that are left because of the way and the care that they've been taken. And yeah, maybe some of them have, lost their way because of actions that were taken by the people who wielded them. And maybe this story is about redemption and redeeming these things and teaching them who they are, and you learn who you are through it. That's really cool, and I think a powerful narrative.
Yeah, I think that jumps off what you said about like the magical part, the sentient part is the metal, is the blade itself. So it's like in this case we are creating a saw because that's the heart of our story, but what we really have is like an age where there was a point where there was like the sentient metal, and it could be, as all tools are, used for whatever you want to use them for. So like in the bigger picture of the world building of this saw, sentient metal that you can kind of shape into what you need it to be, but also it shapes you and the decisions you make with that shape. So that's super cool. Also, yeah, shout out to your t-shirt. Hold on. Let's
Thank you, Neophoric. Appreciate you. There you go. You can...
Nice. Love it.
Not preserving.
That's awesome.
It's a local San Diego company, actually.
It's a very convenient packaging for our alien invader overlords.
Fully agreed. All right, well, let's give one more little detail here, and then we'll think about what we would want to do with this as how we would want to use this as like a 5e type item, because we can there's definitely like a bunch of use cases we could play with here. So we've got a background where it's used in romantic gestures or rites of passage. We've got a background where it was stolen by a figure or faction. A trait where it shapes or commands a material or an object. Or a trait where it's one of a pair or set?
I know where I'm leaning, but what are y'all thinking?
I like pair or set.
Love that concept.
Yeah, there's so much story there, and then you can do really fun thing with mirrors or contrasts, where like how one turned out this way, but another turned out that way. Yeah, so I'm feeling what you're feeling there, I think.
Yeah, and I also think that getting sets of things is such a great way to tell a story. Like because you know exactly like the direction it's heading.
Yeah.
And you know when like the story is finished.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like there's an end goal there. And you can, turn it on its head in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
As you encounter these different, pieces of, sapient, sentient metal. And you bring them all together to some end,
Yeah.
which I think is very, very cool.
I fully agree with that. Yeah, there's nothing better than like the amulet that controls the realm was broken into 5 pieces, and you got to find the 5 pieces.
Yeah,
Or,
exactly.
you need the sword and the shield, buddy. Yeah, you got to go to 2 tombs. Like I just every time I'm like, all right, I'm in. I know exactly what the shape of the adventure is going to be, and then that gives you room to surprise me. So
exactly.
I think what's interesting too is like if the journey is to find the pair eventually, but it has been generations and generations, so it has changed its shape so many times. It's how do you kind of like find a way to like part of it would be doing a bit of problem solving and puzzling out to find out how like to find their identifiers.
yeah,
To like
very cool.
prove that they are truly meant to be together.
Yeah. So what are we thinking the pair of the set is then?
I mean, I'm curious. Like I think my first thought is, what if they were, links in a chain?
Oh yeah.
And like the more links you have, the more versatile it becomes. Or the more like sections you gain, the longer it becomes. Therefore, the more you're able to do with it. And I think the more we talk about this idea, the less, and maybe it starts off like Murky was saying, as it being this handsaw. I think that's really cool. But then as time goes on, it like changes into this bandsaw that just like circles you in new ways. And you're able to like use it as a tool for creation, as a tool for battle, as a tool for whatever it might be. And it becomes more magical the more pieces that you gain to it. Or you could be finding the modules to put it into.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So
Okay.
you could it could just be a handsaw, and then you discover the module to make it into this like floating piece, or you discover a mod like maybe some magnetic something or whatever it is. It's magic. It can be whatever you want. But you see what I'm saying? Where like it can become a blade, or it can become like a circular saw blade. So I'm thinking that's an option as well. Like or we're just looking for new pieces of chain, and maybe some people have taken those chains and turned them into necklaces, or they've turned them into bracelets, or they use them to hang a wind chime from, and like the elements of that music have like that piece like loves music now and loves beautiful sound. Like there's so many things you could use a chain for, that you could encounter, like you were saying before. It could now, its purpose could have been changed as it was spread throughout the world. And it could have been exposed to so many different things. It could be, again, it could be a ring. It could be all sorts of types of clothing. It could be a chain used to, tie an ox to a cart. It could be whatever it might be. And you'd have to discover and find these things. And maybe you have some kind of way of, compassing out where these things are located. And that's also really fun to be like, oh, I wonder what this new piece of chain will have experienced. And what am I going to learn from the experience that this tool has been gaining over the centuries.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of turning that into D&D mechanics, and I think it'd be really interesting if maybe the module comes from the person who picks it up. It comes from the person who picks it up and the last person who had it. So there's a chance for some story and transmission there. So whatever, when you pick it up, you take a look at basically the DM takes a look at the class or the stat sheet of the character, and there's a list of options that they look for like what would this turn into, what would this mean to this person when they touch it, and that's kind of the module that activates like automatically through the attunement process over 24 hours the magic item, but it also retains whatever the purpose the last person had with it as well. So it's got that living legacy thing. And maybe then, depending on what module you've activated, if you get access to more pieces of this metal and you add it to the chain, you'd like basically new features develop down that chain. So there's a bit of like a skill tree. As I say this, I'm realizing I'm now making this more complicated from the dev perspective. But
okay,
Not at all.
so that's like the huge view. How do we simplify this concept into a 5e item, right? Like how do we bring it down to something that's very doable?
I think the DM, whichever player picks it up or touches it first, or maybe it's attunes with it, has a table of like 5 options for basically what the tool could turn into, and they decide that based on the character and what they think the character, what type of tool or object they use most, or what they use tools or objects for most often. So we'd probably come up with like some kind of like attack function, some kind of defense function, some kind of crafting function. Maybe some kind of like sheltery function, or like not protection, but like a kind of camping utility thing. Or then maybe one kind of like multi-tool Swiss Army knife thing.
Yeah.
That's not specialized in any of those. And each of these confers some kind of either like combat or skill check or whatever benefit. And that activates once the person has it. And then basically that benefit scales if they manage to get more pieces of metal to add, which increases the like size or the intensity of the function of the thing.
So it would essentially become like a saw +1, a saw +2, a saw +3, depending on how many pieces they get of it.
Yeah, and I think
Cool.
maybe because the first bearer had it be a saw, it always reverts to a saw when it becomes unattuned. So whoever finds it is going to find it as a saw first, and then they'll imprint their own shape on it.
That's cool.
I think that works, because that's like, you can make that work in most scenarios, but there's a story moment. I feel like that would be replicable.
I feel like there's also that like side quest element if you're like talking about the pair.
Yeah.
If you decide you actually like, it could actually like be a jump start to actually say, well, it's going to be something could be important, something could be unlocked if you actually get the pair of the thing.
It'd be interesting if so when the metal forms, it's always formed in like as a link of 2 chains, this living metal, and then separated and given to different people, but the metal pieces are like always trying to find their way back to each other. It could be interesting. But the question is, why would they be separated in the first place? That's a question I don't have an answer to. But I like the story element of like they're trying to get back.
Maybe it was like an inheritance, right? So like there was this person initially received it. And they used it throughout their lives, and then they had 2 kids, or 2 apprentices, and they gave pieces to their apprentices to go out and to share crafting with the world.
Right.
And then over time, obviously, those apprentices passed away, and those things passed on, and maybe those chains are becoming these different things to get back to each other. Right. So again, they're they become the necklace to become a gift that was given to a king of a different kingdom. They then are dropped, and they become this chain that gets tied to an ox cart to get closer to each other, and they're like kind of making these journeys. I don't know, it reminds me in some way like that idea of like you get all this money, but there's a snail that's always chasing you. And if it touches you, you die. Where these, but in a positive way, where these 2 pieces are always trying to get back to each other.
I like that a lot. Okay, I think I know how to make this deployable, and it's great because it's both an item, but it's also definitely a story hook. Like
100%.
It's a quest hook ready to go, and lots of ways for the DM to customize it. Like there's lots of ways you can customize what the other half of the pair is, where it is, what adventure that takes the party on. Yeah. Love it.
Cool.
Okay.
This is really sweet.
Cook this up as a stat block, and we'll send it to you before we publish anything, so you can have a look and let us know if there's anything you want to tweak or change.
Excellent.
Cool. Well, I know when I asked you earlier if there's anything of yours that we could like plug or share with people, you said you didn't have anything at the moment. But are you going to be at Gen Con? And if so, are you doing anything?
I will be at Gen Con. I'm going to be doing con coverage like I love to do. I think my new favorite thing is I do these little like nano photo shoots with other creators. And we have a great time with that. I am also doing a panel called Monsterology. So if you want to attend Monsterology with the Storyteller Squad, we're going to be creating monsters on the fly, or a monster on the fly, with audience suggestions, and we'll have an artist there who's going to be creating the monster as we are creating it. So they'll be like updating things and changing things, and then by the end of it, we also encourage the audience to be drawing their own versions of the thing we're creating, and then we can share all those things with each other, and like, oh, this is what my version looked like, or this is what my version looked like.
Yeah.
So Monsterology is a ton of fun. It's a great panel to attend. Highly recommend coming to it. We always have a great time. I believe it's on Friday.
Okay.
Let me double check my calendar. June, July, August. There we go. Gen Con. Monsterology, 1 p.m. I believe that's Eastern time. Oh no, so it's 4 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, just look up Monsterology. It's in ICC 245.
Cool.
So yeah, it'd be so good to see it. Also, I'm obviously always releasing new music. If you are somebody who likes tabletop music, and I write music for and about tabletop games, so it's not just background music, it's also music that celebrates our hobby and explores it in different ways. Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. This was such a blast. Had a great time.
This was really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to statting this out and seeing how people can use it. But yeah, really fun, really creative, and again, very story driven. I loved seeing the story bring at work here.
I know I found I couldn't really limit it to the stat block. I'm probably the most D&D like newbie, so I generally need a lot of guidance when I play along. But I found I couldn't even restrain myself to thinking about it in isolate because I was so into like the story hook element to it. I was like, it's a quest now. Like, we're gonna just forget a stat block, Peter. We're gonna actually just create a whole like mini campaign around the saw itself. Okay, that's me usurping the rules.
And you tell us not to scope creep.
Yeah. Marcus usually the one who keeps us in check.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always such a huge fan that everything that your players encounter should have some kind of some kind of connection to the overall story, because you only have so much time together, and being able to make everything feel like it could be a part of something bigger, then you are actually able to allow your players to infer like, hey, I found this dwarven bell like 4 sessions ago. Can I try and ring it now and see what happens at this door? And then your DM brain's like, oh yeah, what would this do? That's a great idea. Let's ring it and let's see what happens. You know, like,
yeah,
it allows for a lot of great group storytelling, which is my biggest joy when playing these types of games. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think collaborative world building, collaborative storytelling is something that we've been talking a lot more recently. Especially when it comes to like the concept of DMing, you don't have to be the one that creates everything from scratch on your own. That you might have, that everyone in the group will be more invested and care about the entire campaign or the worlds that you guys are navigating if you're doing it together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why Monsterology is such a cool idea. It's like, again, the thing that you create collectively is going to mean so much more to everyone than just like watching someone bring something that they fully made, but that doesn't have room for you to like imprint on it the same way, because you're part of the creative process. So I think it's a really cool concept for a panel, and I hope folks check it out. Monsterology.
Yeah, and we hope to get a chance to see you at Gen Con as well.
Yeah, I'll definitely be stopping by for sure, 100%.
Yeah, cool. Please do. Well, thank you so much for joining us and creating this awesome, unique item, magical item with us. And we will catch you in a couple of months.
Yeah. In a month. It's in
a month.
It's happening.
So soon. It's
like
4 weeks.
My brain said August and realized it's like right at the start. It basically is a month. I know. See you in a month then. Yes,
yeah, I'll see you then.
Yes.
Catch you later.
See ya.
Time is a fickle mistress.
Fickle mistress.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, like I said, I saw August and I'm like, it's still June, even though it's July next week. And it's like 2 months, right? No, it's a month.
And this Gen Con is like more in July than it is in August, just because of the way the dates worked out. So it's like it's so soon. But we will see all of you there. We will be there at Gen Con. We will have our table. We will be running demos. We'd love to see you and chat with you. So we do hope that you come by. And you can find us there because this is actually our last live stream for a little while. We don't have any live streams on the immediate schedule in the future. So we will see you at Gen Con, and we will at some point have another live stream for sure, but we just don't know when it'll be yet. Yeah, but we hope you'll come.
Yeah,
if you want to, in the replay crew, let us know what conventions you'd like to see us at. Let us know which conventions that you go to. I would just be curious to know where you'd like to see us, because Gen Con's kind of the one that we do, but we're always just curious to know where you guys are at and where we might find you.
Yeah, once in a blue moon, you see us at some really, things popping up here and there. But you guarantee will see us from Gen Con. I think we do have our booth number already.
I believe it's 1217.
1217. It is under. You won't find us in the program as Story Engine because we are part of like a greater collective of other amazing artists and creators. So I believe it is under BFE Comics.
Webcomics.
Webcomics. Yes. So hopefully we'll get a chance for you guys to come and see us in person at Gen Con. But otherwise, this has been an amazing free RPG Day event. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us to create an NPC, a creature, and a item. I was gonna say magical creature and magical item because in my brain they already are magical. And I was like, and I didn't want to like shoot myself in the foot and being like, wait, they weren't magical. But I was like, no, they are magical. One is freaking sentient. And the other one is like a hybrid creature that is written by sprites and imps. So yes, they are both magical in some way, shape, or form. If you enjoyed seeing it or if you got a chance to play with our deck today and said, wow, I would like more, you can always visit us at storyenginedeck.com. We have a 10% off our entire store today as part of Free RPG Day. So if you buy any of our physical decks or accessories or expansions, boosters, what say have you, not even just for Lore Master's deck. If you love Lore Master's deck or maybe even have Lore Master's deck and interested in Deck of Worlds or Story Engine, which is our other systems, those are 10% off today. But other than that, hopefully there's going to be a chance for us to all connect again. Like Peter said, we don't have another live stream in the books yet, but if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Story Engine Deck, or follow us on any of our other social channels, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, what they have you can always be the first to hear from us as well. Or you can subscribe to us at storyenginedeck.com. You can join our newsletters where you'll be the first to know any of our like exciting events that are coming up or any of our sales as well. And thank you, Popcorn Antics, for also sharing that you got the sci-fi expansion and that you're excited to start using it. That's a great expansion to play around with. Thank you all so much. You all rock. We love hanging out with you, and we will see you all very soon.
All right. Catch you on the next one, people. Bye.